he stayed calm enough. He started to bark a little bit. This is an older. I don't know. It's a big fucking dog though.
Mm-hmm.
And I just walked away, and she didn't follow.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't want to get attacked by a fucking dog. Put your dog in the yard, or like you can't just let your dog wander around. This is Santa Barbara. I don't expect to see a fucking. This is a dog that could have fucking done damage to.
And that's the message of tonight's podcast. We're live.
Are we live?
We live.
Good. Fuck it. This is the way Joe Rodent starts his podcast.
Joe Rodent.
I'm sorry, friend of the show. You know what? I'm never going to get booked now.
You never.
They're going to find that.
Yeah.
Because I think he was looking. He's probably going to see this, and he's probably going to say,
yeah.
"Oh,
he's in the whole
have him on
UFC ecosphere, you know." So he's definitely going to see this.
So how are you doing? Are you nervous about the World Series?
I am. You know what? No, I'm not nervous because we're going to win in 6. I'm not nervous.
I mean, the odds are saying that's probably the case, but
it's a very even series. It's a very even series.
World Championships.
Yeah.
What's another to a G? It's no problem. We listen, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm excited to watch
Series
it.
In like 20
I'm
years.
just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's no pressure when you're a Yankees fan because you have so much. You have so much, and it's like,
but you haven't been there. You haven't been there in a while. When was the last one? 96?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
96,
99.
No, didn't we catch one in like 99, right around 2001 or 3 or 4? There was like one in there.
It wasn't 2001.
What was the last one? Here we go. Here goes the Wikipedia.
Because the towers fell and you couldn't finish the job.
Okay. Hold up. Hold on.
Was it 2000 was the last one?
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Yeah. No, 2009. Oh, it's okay. That's why he beat the Phillies. That's right. By Joe Girard. Don't give me this shit. I don't want to see this.
It's all the heroes, Chapman. Bro. Look at them.
The DJ LeMahieu, CC Sabathia. Yeah. Can you even name these guys?
Of course.
That's what I want to know.
Listen, Gleyber Torres is my guy.
Gleyber Torres.
He's a leadoff fucking machine. He's got on-base percentage is nuts. You know, I look at the statistics, and the Yankees and the Dodgers are very evenly matched.
They are.
I mean, they're higher ranked, but the numbers are like quantum infinitesimal.
This is a dead even World Series. This is as even as you're going to get.
I'm fully wrecked for this World Series.
I am too.
And we'll watch the Dodgers sizzle reel too. Don't think I forgot.
Do you know where you acquired Gleyber Torres from?
Gleyber Torres?
Yes.
You know, I don't recall. That's a good question.
He's been there for a minute.
Dodgers,
right? A homegrown. No. I don't believe he's a homegrown talent. Wait, was he? Maybe he was.
It's not like
no, he wasn't.
Derek Jeter days, right?
No, he was. Wait, I can't fuck.
The Yankees had such an amazing farm system under Brian Cashman. They had Jeter and Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
Oh, for a little bit, all those teams from the '90s were built on that. Think about Mariano Rivera,
Bernie Williams. Yeah.
All right, let's
Bernie Williams underrated.
Bernie Williams
underrated.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, underrated.
Defensive outfielder. Center par excellence, and just fucking hit clutch, man.
So you guys,
something the Dodgers aren't. You know what? I remember watching Kirk Gibson hit that shot against the A's in 88 or something. I was in high school. I was a freshman or something.
Yeah,
it was great.
So you guys acquired Gleyber Torres from the Cubs.
Okay,
he was a Cubby. Fun fact.
I don't care where they came from. There's not. We acquired Giancarlo Stanton from Mike Stanton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he moved to the boogie down, and now he's Giancarlo, and everything's better. And he wears gold, and he loves it. This is no sizzle. Where's this? It's just a bunch of fucking. This is so LA AM5. This is why you're gonna lose.
Turn this bullshit off.
No, hold on. I want to show you one more thing.
Just go to the other one.
No.
Gleyber Torres. You can't even spell Gleyber Torres.
Mike is just like eating my thing.
With your choppy ass internet. Look at this.
Let's just do the 2020 mix. Like I don't pay for the thing. Listen, I don't pay for the thing, guys. You're gonna see an ad here.
Yeah.
There he is, bro. Oh shit. Mi amor. Yes.
I'm surprised he's still on the team, honestly.
Bro, he's a cook. See, this is my type of player. Selfish. He can hit power, but he doesn't try to swing all the time. He's got a nice glove. He's smooth.
Gleyber Torres' baseball reference page.
He's wearing 25. Isn't Mattingly wear 25?
Was he? Well, they didn't retire his number. He's not a Hall of Famer.
No, I don't think so. You got to be pretty fucking bad to be retired by the Yankees at this point.
Gleyber Torres this year only had an OPS plus of 101. Wow. Very average.
I mean, yeah, but it's during the moments that Gleyber comes alive. You know
Average.
It's all about situational baseball at this point. What you did during the season is not relevant because you know how streaky baseball can be, and injuries. So it depends on what you did this month, right?
True, that's true.
This month, but I mean, these teams are going to this is going to be a war, dude.
It is going to be a war.
It might be a bench clearing brawl. Who do you want to hear? Who do you want to sizzle for before we talk about Mr. McMahon? I think he should be investigated.
For what?
You want to watch him with the Angels?
No, why would I watch him with the Angels?
Oh, we have to watch another ad. What's this ad for?
I don't know. I can't tell. Was it soap? Oh, Irish Spring. Yeah, there it is.
Now you're clean.
Now you're clean.
Now you're clean. There we go. Strike.
I love watching this in 10 frames a second. This is great.
It's on 1080 60 FPS. Oh, is that because it's all fucked
stream?
Up?
It's all choppy. Yeah.
See, there's no highlights again. I don't want to show me something. No, we need a sizzle. This is the problem.
Just keep showing the fucking.
Why are they hiding Ohtani's sizzle wheel?
I don't fucking know. Is it low-key racism? Is that what it is? The best game ever. Look at that.
All right, we'll do it.
6 for 6.
Do it for the
50-50 club, which no one has ever done. Crazy.
It's so refreshing not to have any Australians here to tell us that baseball's dumb and that we can't watch it. 287, 48 home runs. Pretty good stats.
Yeah, not bad.
You know what? He's going to get his numbers. Listen, he's going to get his runs. He's going to get his home. Listen, you have to contain the other players. You have to. It's just like Barry Bonds. In fact, I'd be walking Ohtani. I would walk his bitch ass.
There's I'm not sure the exact number, but I'm pretty sure Ohtani is hitting over 800 with runners in scoring position in the postseason. So it's just why even pitch to him, which is crazy.
He reminds me so much of Ichiro as far as his
power,
respect for the game. Except with much bigger, much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But Ichiro was amazing to watch, especially as an outfielder. He had a cannon arm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He would throw people out all regularly from right field.
Yeah, look at that guy.
Amazing batting. Didn't he bat 400?
Close.
Did Ichiro? Is that the last guy who bat 400? Jesus Christ!
It's not. I mean, let me check it out.
Yeah, I love these guys who just get on base.
I mean, it's nice.
Nice contact. I mean, perfect balance.
Let's see, Ichiro.
He's not sponsored by Mizuno.
372
balances on. That's crazy.
Was his highest.
They don't even.
It is crazy.
Are the Marlins any good? Because they look like they fucking suck.
No, they're not.
All right.
It's we got to talk.
I already feel JC getting so mad.
Ichiro was.
Let's talk about Mr. McMahon. Now that we have everyone to file in, is there anyone in the chat today? Because I don't even care anymore. Do you want to see? Let's nobody in the chat.
Let's just
imagine. We're just doing it for us.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the record.
For the love of the game.
Let's watch this trailer.
Okay. There's no sound. Unless I'm dumb. There's no sound. This dead air is just lovely for the stream.
Okay. Here we
a little production note for JC. Go ahead and splice in the trailer with sound.
So let's talk about Vince McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy. It says his name is Vincent. Oh, okay.
It's Vincent
He was
Kennedy.
born in Pinehurst, North Carolina, to Victoria and Vincent James McMahon. Okay. And so we run into the first issue. His paternal grandfather was boxing promoter Roderick James Jesse McMahon, whose parents were Irish immigrants from County Galway. All right. So he didn't meet his father until he was 12. And his father was a wrestling promoter, correct?
Yes. Actual father, yes.
And it sounds like he had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
And he spent the early part of his career trying to prove to his paternal father that he was qualified to take over the business, right?
Right.
He went to East Carolina University, which they didn't even discuss. He had a business degree, and he was a traveling salesman before he got into World Wrestling Federation with his dad. And they threw him. I remember from the first episode, they gave him Maine, a small territory, because at that time wrestling was broken up into
territories,
right? Like ancient Shogun era Japan, right? With shoguns in every diet until they're the fucking culmination of one true uniting force. Right. And so they gave him Maine, and he fucking cooked, because this is the deal with Vince McMahon. We're going to talk about all of his repugnancies tonight, but he's a wonderful performer. And, he basically carried early WWE just by the force of his personality when he did his ringside stuff and he did his pre-match. You agree?
Yes, I would agree with that.
And then I miss Mean Gene. Remember Mean Gene? Was it Oberlin?
Okerlund.
Okerlund.
Mean Gene Okerlund, yeah.
They were so good together. And the Rowdy. Why is that so hard to say?
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Right.
Days. We're going to get to the 80s. We're going to get to the MTV era.
So before we get into this, how much...
Get into it.
How much...
Shit, I'm waiting for you to fucking jump in here. I thought it was like on a date. I feel like I was on a first date.
I'm trying to set it up here.
What do you do when you're not working?
Set it up here.
I like to watch Netflix.
So I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Okay.
Where are you on the wrestling spectrum?
I respect it, but it was never something that I became something that became part of my regular schedule. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't watch it?
My dad did not fuck with wrestling whatsoever.
No.
He was one of those guys. He did not like that. It was, I don't know. He just didn't fuck with it. He liked baseball, and football, and basketball.
Your brother didn't get into it either?
Wrestling? My brothers did not fuck with it. My brothers don't really fuck with sports in general. Yeah. Right. But I was never one of these anti-wrestling guys, which are just as bad. Right. It could go both ways. The guys, you're like, oh, it's fake, it's stupid, etc. And I'm like, it's not fake, because they're getting hit literally full time in the face all the time. The chairs are not fake. Their bodies are brutalized, and I appreciated the theatrical aspect of it, because it's just a different thing, right? Because
it's as real as like a Game of Thrones,
it's a show
or a Succession. Like it's just a show. It's all it is.
But so is any sporting event in the modern era. So is like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, is it real? Is it fake? It would be like if at the end of an NFL game they said, okay, we're gonna let the Titans beat the Cowboys or whatever, people would get fucking pissed.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because there's money being exchanged, there's gambling. And now, am I correct to understand that there's actually allowed gambling?
There is. Yeah, I don't understand that, but yes, there is gambling in wrestling. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. So
you gamble, but you know what? They gamble on The Apprentice. Or they gamble on any of those, reality shows.
Right, but you don't know.
Yeah, but you know how
who's going to win those shows?
Leak, but it can leak, right? Because there is a established,
which is what happens ending in wrestling. There's a lot of leaks
with the internet nowadays, and but listen, that happened many times in like basketball, point shaving and stuff that. Yeah. It probably still happens. Let's keep it funky. The NFL.
What's that guy from the in basketball, the referee who was calling like fouls all the time and shit when there should have been fouls?
I don't remember his name. It's constant. It's
Tim
like
something. I forgot his name. Yeah.
That's why I don't bet on fucking sports.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna gamble, at least I understand blackjack. I understand cards a little bit. I can see all the cards a little bit, but. When I was younger, everyone thinks they can gamble on sports. Well, that's the first thing you realize when you're 23. You think you know everything about sports because you've been watching it for 10 years, and then you lose a little money.
Yeah,
or you dabble in it. But the thing is, like, for all the shit that WWE gets, the NFL is just as brutal, and they have all the same problems, right? They have all the same problems, and they're just as brutal. Let me see if I can prove this for the fan. So it's like, who am I to judge people's tastes as far as what they enjoy? I respect. I mean, and this is the other thing. I respect the athletes involved.
Right. Yeah.
These guys are fucking brutalizing themselves. And if anything, my wish has always been that wrestling was run by the wrestlers, for the wrestlers, and that they get the promoters and the middlemen and all those guys to the edge as far as possible. I know to some extent you need somebody to be a promoter and you need somebody to manage.
Right.
But they fucking take everything from these guys and they don't give them.
You have to find that balance. And that's ultimately, I think what really took down WCW, which they did not get into. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. You had
we're gonna get into WCW.
You had too many wrestlers, like too many these fucking old guys like Hulk Hogan that were getting into Eric Bischoff's ears, and they were telling him what they should and shouldn't do. Everything was getting diluted, and it was just it watered the product down, and it became ultimately bad.
It seemed like just a copy of what WWE was doing, and then they just spun it a little, and because it was new, that people got excited for it, and it had a lot of money behind it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ted Turner.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
You on CNN and
that's
Turner
something I had pointed out to Flame. You know, I was like, if you start a wrestling company, like you know, even as a billionaire or a millionaire, you have to invest so much time into promoting, you know, going places and performing shows and all this stuff. And then you got to find a TV deal because you're not really seen as like legitimate till you get a TV deal. And you see someone like Tony Khan, who's the son of Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars,
Jacksonville,
who owns AEW. You know, they had to look for a TV deal. You know, they had to prove themselves. They had to show that they can make money. In WCW, Ted Turner literally owned a network, so it was right there. Like he didn't have to do anything. That cut out so much work and time.
Yeah, WWF did all of the heavy lifting and built the brand, and then they just said, "Oh, cool, I'll have that." And Ted Turner has like ungodly amounts of money,
right?
And so they would just basically they would just poach every single one of their talent, essentially.
Yeah.
Because they could just. But then the other deal is like, did WWF have enough money to actually pay these guys what they should have been paid? And maybe they should have.
100% they did.
And so fuck them. Yeah. Right? Because it's like, if you can get a better deal as an athlete and there's no it's still wrestling. I mean, right. I don't blame these guys for moving, but it's like, we're going to get into like, I don't know.
We got a toaster here who says, "My dad loves this show." Do you know what that is as a reference to? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay, I don't think so.
He has this fucking weirdo show about music. I've never heard any of these albums. I want, on Sunday, I just want to relax.
I've literally never heard any of the music you guys play.
I just want to relax. I don't want to learn anything. I just want to be with. But no, he always makes me listen to this weird music. No, your dad might like this every Sunday at 8. You should come on and be a guest. The idea is that we've never heard it before, and then we just listen to it and just talk about it. Yeah, no, I mean, some of the albums we have heard, of course. What's going on with this? And then, but a lot of them we just want to like. The idea is basically you have a bunch of friends hanging out, listening to records, right? Like we did in the old days, where you've never heard it before, and then everyone just like shoots the shit about music in general. And then we tell each other what we think about the songs and stuff, and it's fun. There's no pressure, and we have also those albums don't get DMCA'd as much.
True, yeah, that's true.
They're esoteric albums, and people haven't heard a lot of the stuff. And like, you may not like the whole record, but there's always going to be sections or tracks that you're going to think you
might like, you might vibe with, yeah.
And that's generally what happens. So check it out, Sundays at 8.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about? This fucking WWE. I mean, do we want to like?
Hold on, before we get into it again. There's something I had a huge problem with.
So much content here. Yeah.
So when this was announced a couple months ago, and we're about I want to say like 6-7 months removed from the latest allegation against Vince McMahon.
Oh, has there been allegations?
yeah. Maybe one or two, maybe.
Are we going to get into that right at the jump? Well, yeah, let's tell people. If people don't know, Mr. McMahon has been accused of basically kind of the stuff that, how would you describe what he does? Like, he hires a young lady and then makes her do horrific
it's what I've
sexual
heard
abuse
called
related
power dynamics. I think it's what it's called.
scatological, like is
Hearsay.
shitting on people.
Hearsay.
And
That's all hearsay.
I'm just allegedly. This is the
Allegedly.
allegations. All the things are alleged, but
Allegedly.
then you see the text. But this is what cooks Vince McMahon is that you see the fucking text, and they're so coked out.
He texts like a
I
fucking 12-year-old
paused it
girl.
to read it.
It's crazy.
And it's just rambling. It's just like his brain is going.
I own you. You're mine.
It's fucking weird. He sent that to a 12-year-old?
No, that's not what I said.
What did you say?
I said
what
he texts like he's a 12-year-old girl.
Like a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were like putting another charge on him.
That's a whole different allegation.
Yeah, but it's not healthy, Mr. McMahon's work environment.
Yeah, Vince shouldn't be doing that.
For a long time, none of these none of these wrestlers had health insurance. Like if you break your fucking back or something, you know, there's no backup plan, and they have improved a lot of those things, but they've also become, you know, what they did is they became a corporation, and so that allowed them to raise a lot more fucking money. And then they have these big deals with like Peacock, and then they merged with UFC, right, to create TNT. So this is a big business.
TKO, yeah.
And it, like the NFL, which many of the same problems persist, and I think one of the greatest problems is traumatic brain injury. That's just going to cook every single one of these guys and everybody in the NFL.
That was
you just can't hit your head against people like that all the time. If you do it 3 or 4 times, you increase the odds of you having like Alzheimer's or some degenerative brain disease like by 70% or some crazy number.
Yeah, that was a part of the 5th episode that I was really not taken aback, but I was very vocal when I was watching it about why I felt certain ways of
Well, tell me how you feel.
We'll get to it. Hold on.
We'll get to it. All right. We're not going to talk about.
I'm not going to forget
the guy who cooked his whole family. We'll get there later.
We'll get to all that. We're gonna go episode by episode. All right, that's what we're doing. So
I was trying to get into the genesis of Vince McMahon. I was getting into the Galway, Ireland, and all that stuff.
The allegations came out, right? 7 months later, they announced this documentary. I was super excited, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is going to be such a takedown of Vince. This is going to be crazy." I had read online about how people in WWE are not happy about this. Even people that didn't really fuck with Vince anymore, they didn't like it.
He said he wanted to buy it, and so he couldn't distribute
it. Right, yeah. So this just sounds like crazy good. I was so excited. If you have not watched this documentary, I'm speaking to you and the people out there in TV land, you haven't watched this documentary, okay? I'm going to sum it up for you. If you wanted to go over anything that happened recently, it does for maybe 10 minutes, and that's it.
It doesn't really
cover it. Yeah, at the very end. It doesn't really cover it. So
I feel like it was like fuck, because Netflix has a deal with WWE,
right? Yeah,
don't they?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? It's like more promo shit.
So if you're expecting a whole huge takedown on Vince, you're not going to get it. If you don't know anything about Vince or anything about wrestling, this is a good documentary. It's really good. If you know about Vince and you know about wrestling, this is just more of what you know, and there's some expansion on things. But it's largely everything you know and everything you've seen. You're going to get annoyed at some stuff like certain things they didn't expand on. But again, it's, you know, you get into the whole Attitude Era and you get excited because you see all this stuff and you're like, oh man, the Monday Night Wars. They don't really get into it too much. You know, they talk about the Eric Bischoff and Vince thing, but it doesn't expand about how, like, you know, crazy it was and all shit.
Yeah, it doesn't get like granular. You have to watch something like what's that documentary series that's on Vice about wrestling behind the ring or something? That's a good show.
What's
if you want to get granular?
Yeah. So yeah, this is very focused on Vince. It's laser focused on Vince. It does deviate a little bit here and there, but not too much. So yeah, it's as someone who knew all this shit already, I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, it's the question is like, is he playing a character or is this really him?
Right.
The theme.
I mean, even the poster here is the Vince McMahon with the puppet string of the character, you know, Mr. McMahon. So that's the whole play on it.
I think it was balanced. I think they were, but sometimes it was very promotional. But it's like I think they were making this documentary, and then the allegations came out at the end, and he wouldn't sit for an interview for it. So they really didn't have as much content. They didn't know what the allegations were. Right. But what they should have done is like do another episode fresh, or do an update.
Like no one probably wanted to do it. That's why. It would have just been all what we saw.
Have the victims come on.
I don't agree with the whole thing of getting the victim's name out there, because that was crazy.
Well, if the shit she went through, that was crazy. Yeah, you can hide them. I don't know. You're right.
I'm pretty super awkward that they fucking doxed her like that. That was pretty fucked up that they did.
I didn't. Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's something they negotiated with her and her legal counsel, and that's what she wanted. But
there's a part in the last episode, just to jump ahead to that real quick, because I think it ties into what I'm going to say right now is there's a person named Bruce Pritchard, and he worked in WWE for the longest time.
Right.
He's an executive producer, executive director. He's like Vince's number 2 guy. He's pretty close to Vince.
Guy. Is he the guy that he was worried that they were going to kick him out because he was gay or something?
No.
Is that the same guy, or was that
that was Pat Patterson. That was a different guy.
Pat Patterson. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're
right. So Bruce Pritchard I think he's the only one they interview at the very end after all the allegations came out, because they asked him, have you seen the show? Because I guess he saw the Netflix show already, and he said yeah, and he was upset. He said he thought it sucked, and he thought it was unfair. Guy. I thought this documentary was completely fair.
It was so fair.
I think there were some aspects
much better than they could ever.
There's some aspects they didn't go hard enough on Vince for, which may play into the part of them having a TV deal with him, even though he's no longer with the company. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this was a hit piece. I think we saw Vince for what Vince is. Everyone who knows who Vince McMahon is knows this is not.
I mean, yeah, but there was news today that there was a new lawsuit for 5 former ring boys who filed a lawsuit against Vince McMahon and his wife, Linda McMahon, and TKO. Right. And Linda McMahon was in the Trump administration. She was the
small business
administrator.
Good for her.
No.
Good for her.
Yeah. Allegedly, negligence for allowing systemic and pervasive abuse of underage children. That's great.
Well, there's that one guy in the. I guess we're just gonna fucking jump all over the place. There's that one guy.
I mean,
who was in the documentary that said that he was sexually advanced on at the age of 16.
Yeah, so that seems like they don't have a very during the when they're building their business, they don't have a very good you have a bunch of carnies setting up the cages and stuff.
But
and it's
not to be clear, that wasn't Vince that did that. That was. I think it said it was a couple guys around
the
Vince,
boss, man.
Still.
You listen. If you have a workplace and you want to be the boss and you want to get paid by the boss, you're responsible for what happens at the workplace, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem Vince is going to have. But this is what the thing is, that he's betting that Mr. Trump can win election and he'll get that sweet, sweet pardon. Don't you think Vince McMahon will get a pardon?
I don't know.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Guaranteed.
I mean, well, you can't pardon him for something he's not criminally charged for yet.
I'm saying
if he gets to that case, yeah.
If he does, they're definitely going to bring federal charges against him. Don't you think?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, if all of it's true, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
But the other deal is if Trump wins, they're not going to bring federal charges because the DOJ will be pursuing Mr. Trump's enemies.
Yeah.
So it's McMahon is very interested in what happens coming up here. I'm quite sure, but he's getting old now. Well, how old is he at this point? 70s.
Fucking know. He's got to be in his 80s, right? Let's see. Let me look it up.
No.
So this episode is, or this documentary, 79. 79. Looks rough.
Oh, he's fuck.
Looks rough.
Jesus Christ, these guys are so old.
This is a Netflix show. It's 6 episodes long. Every episode's about an hour long. It's a standard documentary. They splice in all the footage. They got a lot of big names to do interviews with. They got Vince. They got Steve Austin, Eric Bischoff, Bret Hart, Triple H, Hulk Hogan, the McMahons, The Rock, Undertaker, and then obviously you got famous dirt sheet writer / reporter for wrestling, Dave Meltzer, legend in the sport.
Don't forget Phil Mishnick. Don't forget me.
I hate Phil Mishnick. I hate that guy so much. He's so annoying. But yeah, so we're gonna go episode by episode, and we're gonna kind of talk about things, and we'll go from there. So the first episode was called Junior, and it's essentially the beginning of Vince, where we learn that he was living his life as a kid to his paternal mom and a stepdad that was abusive to him, apparently.
Right.
And then he met his dad, and he learned that his dad was Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And then the story kind of starts from there. You have all these different people talk about, Vince showing up in WWF. They outlined the whole territory thing, how that worked, which is essentially just like little areas on the map that were, handshake marked off so that you don't cross them.
Right.
So
it was all regional, like Texas was a region,
regional,
Carolina, like many of them.
California was split into two. It was the top half was San Francisco wrestling, the bottom half was Hollywood wrestling. So the basic idea is you have all these people different people run these different regions, and you don't cross lines. So if you're in Hollywood wrestling, you don't go into San Francisco. You don't venture out east to Texas.
It's mafia shit.
Right, yeah. Essentially mafia,
It's essentially, it's because it's a racket at that point, I guess. And so, yeah, that way they keep the peace, and but what always happens is there's always regional unifications and stuff like that, right? Over time.
Right, yeah. And
so his dad basically pulled everything together because he got a deal with USA Network or something, right? Didn't they have a TV deal with USA Network?
I think Vince got that.
Was that Vince? Okay. So, but he did pull everybody together eventually. His dad did, right?
No.
Or was it Vince who actually completed the deal?
Yeah. So eventually Vince gets into the business, starts running things. Like Prag said earlier, he went to the Maine, you said?
Maine, yeah.
Maine, yeah. Ran a little bit of the territory there for WWF. Did a great job. And then he started venturing into the business more. And it came to a point where his dad was going to sell the company. So Vince took it. He bought the company. And instead of just kind of standing there and running the company, he expanded. He did what no one was supposed to do, and he went to different territories, and he took their top stars, and he brought them over to WWF, and basically eliminated those territories.
He's lucky he didn't get fucking killed.
They threatened him to kill him, yeah, multiple times.
I'm surprised they didn't.
He didn't care.
I know, because he was trying to please his father, right? He was driven. And then he essentially does the same thing with his son later on.
Right.
Make him a star that he can never quite reach to. But that made Vince McMahon, I guess, a better businessman because he actually, created a empire from the embers of what he received, right?
Do you think Vince would have done that regardless if he never went to wrestling, if he would have just been a guy who has a son and just prove to me that you're worth my love? Do you think that that's the kind of person that he was, or do you think it was the nature of what he was kind of into?
No, it's hard to say because he could have ended up in prison too, just as easily.
Yeah.
Somebody with a personality like that, there's no there's less processing of he just follows his intuition and he does what he feels like doing, and that can get you robbing banks, or it can make you a very successful business person if you have some organization or something behind you, right?
Yeah.
But so he doesn't seem like he's in control.
Yeah. Also in episode 1, we get introduced to one of the biggest wrestlers of all time, just in terms of popularity and name, and that's Hulk Hogan. Huge piece of shit.
I don't like Terry Hogan.
Huge piece of shit.
Whatever his fucking name is.
Like
I like Bret Hart.
Balea?
I thought Bret Hart was a fucking hero.
I like Bret Hart as an idea.
He's an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a good wrestler. He had no charisma.
I thought he has. I agreed with a lot of the shit he was saying.
No, he was right about everything.
Fuck.
He had no charisma as a wrestler, as a performer.
He was a good, but he was highly skilled though. Isn't he considered one of the most highly skilled aerialists, flyers?
No, he's not an aerialist, but he's considered one of the best technical wrestlers of all time.
Technical,
yeah. For me, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler of all time.
He definitely didn't have like the charisma of the big guys.
Yeah,
you know, like Hulk and
for me, Shawn Michaels had
Macho Man.
You know, he could talk, he could wrestle, he entertained. Like he had everything. That's my guy right there.
It's not Mick Foley?
No, it's Shawn Michaels.
Everyone loves Mick Foley.
Mick Foley's great. Who doesn't love Mick Foley?
Let's look at Shawn Michaels then. Why is it coming through at 10? Why when we share screen and I play video, why is it coming through at only 10
I don't know.
FPS?
Maybe it's because you have crappy internet? I don't know.
What do you mean crappy internet? It's the same fucking internet everyone has.
I don't know, man.
It's just Cox. You don't know?
That's what she said.
All right.
So, yeah. So we get introduced to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan displays very much that he is a Vince guy. You know, he backs him until the end, essentially. And yeah.
But doesn't he fucking cook him when he moves to WCW anyway?
Yeah, but I think it's just.
And then didn't he like he testify against him in a trial?
No, he testified.
He pretended to testify, and then he like set up the government.
He didn't say anything. Yeah, he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, this is what he said. He's like, yeah, I'm going to cooperate, and then when the cooperation time comes, he doesn't fucking give anything.
Yeah, like did he tell you to do steroids? Nope. He's just like
mafia shit.
No, yeah, wouldn't say anything.
Everyone knew they were using steroids. That doctor was like handpicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like.
So that was essentially the first episode. So let me go to the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Heat. And then we get further into Vince's expansion and
the competition.
Setting up everything else. And then my favorite part of the second episode, which is one of my favorite stories, is that these wrestlers are working constantly. You have all these stars from all these different companies that are now under the WWF banner,
right.
Working nonstop, working like crazy, killing themselves essentially. And then you got someone like Jesse the Body Ventura, who later became the governor of Minnesota.
Minnesota,
yeah, governor of Minnesota,
former Navy SEAL.
Right. He
tried to organize.
He decides we should unionize. Let's do this.
Yeah, he should have unionized.
He should have. And they and
then who rats him out?
Right, hold on.
Who rats him out?
So this
name him.
this happened after the first. So they set up WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first WrestleMania, it's huge. It does gangbusters. Everyone loves it. Cool. This is what became the annual WrestleMania. So that's awesome. That's cool to see. You know, it started from the beginning how it was. So you get to WrestleMania 2, and this is basically where the union talk comes in. So essentially what the plan was, I guess, was to try to unionize before WrestleMania 2, and if it didn't work, they were going to walk out before the biggest show of the year. But before they can get to that idea or that plan, famous piece of shit, Hulk Hogan tells Vince, hey, guys are going to start unionizing. You should probably nip this in the bud. And Vince allegedly tells them, if you start doing that, I will fire you.
Was he the belt holder at that point, Hulk?
I think he was. He was.
I thought maybe he wanted to keep that belt, and that's how he thought he would do it.
Probably that too.
Ratting on his brothers.
Yeah. So essentially, everyone got sick. I'm sorry, scared. There's no competition anymore because Vince bought all of them out. I think WCW was around, but they were not the WCW that it turned into.
And the WCW is not trying to unionize anybody either, by the way. Right?
So, which they still don't have a union, by the way.
Yep.
So they, although things are better overall, so that's good.
I'll tell you what, the NFL has a players union, and they have a much better deal for their athletes.
Baseball
And
is
you
a
can
players
just
union.
like
Yeah.
look at the numbers. It's pretty simple. But still, if they don't get in part with the CTE situation, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah. So they don't unionize. It doesn't work because everyone gets scared,
Yeah, imagine that.
and essentially it's just business as usual. Everyone just keeps getting their shit deals.
Yep,
And then
that's the show business, right?
right, and then it goes into the whole Hogan thing again. How
You know what they should do? They
what?
should join the Screen Actors Guild
I think some of them were trying to.
because they have the best health insurance
Some
of
of them
any
legit
group of
do.
people in the
I
world.
think are in the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, because if they're acting and they're working in Hollywood, like there's crossover, they have to join.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. You know what? Actually, there's a stage actors. I don't know. I'm sure. Listen, I don't know. I guess they compensate them more and they give them just enough. But it's like they don't want these guys a union. The college football players wanted to form a union, and the Supreme Court wouldn't let them. Right?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Anybody who's risking your life, and you have a right to organize.
But they changed that with college football, right? Like now you can do that now.
You can pay them. No. Yeah, you can pay them, but they still can't form. They can't organize.
Oh no,
right?
no,
They
yeah.
can't organize as a labor unit.
Well, back
which
in
would
my
get them
day,
more leverage because the benefit of collective bargaining is that you have much more ability to negotiate as a group than as an individual, because a group has much more capacity than an individual does, and so they have to listen.
I remember, back in the day, if a college player got a free lunch, he would get in trouble.
Forget about it.
You know?
Oh yeah, they were starving.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then now, I mean, I'm not complaining because it's
I don't
good.
know what the deal is now, but I think that basically the stars probably get fed a lot. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm sure there'll be some like deep dive into like the state of like how that's worked out.
They're called NILs, I think, for college players now, and it's called name and likeness. So they get paid for that stuff now.
Like from the NCAA game, like the EA game.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they get, but what is how much do you get per person?
That I don't know.
Like if you're like the third string defensive tackle, you're not going to get what the running back star gets,
No, of course you're not.
I'm sure that'll be a lot of, if I was in that situation and I was like, I would take that money that I got and pool it for my teammates, because if they don't block for you, you're not going to accomplish very much.
I mean, yeah, they can go that route. They can turn that into a whole thing.
If they don't, they keep the money.
So, so that's what the second episode's about. Or sorry, the second episode, it keeps going.
Right.
We get into the first of many scandals for Vince McMahon.
Right.
With the steroids, there is a doctor that is prescribed. That is administered to the WWF at the time, and he is essentially the WWF's chief doctor, and he is prescribing and selling drugs to all the wrestlers.
Right.
So that's how they get hooked on pills. He's selling them steroids, which I didn't know that apparently it's not illegal to take those steroids, but it is illegal to prescribe them with the intent of selling. So I guess that's like...
It depends on,
that's what they said, at least in the documentary.
Yeah, it's a controlled substance, and you can't just like... The doctor basically sold them probably to the wrestlers, and then they distributed them.
Yeah, so I guess once you do the whole, you prescribe for the sole intention of getting this person hooked on him and selling it to them, that's the problem.
And then didn't Linda McMahon like get word that the doctor was going to get popped and found a way to insulate Vince from the accusations?
I don't remember that, but that doesn't surprise me if that happened.
It doesn't surprise me. Something like that.
Nothing surprises me with this man anymore. So yeah, he had to deal with the drug scandal, and then there was the sex scandal, which Prag had mentioned a little bit ago. How there's a recent lawsuit with some ring boys.
The ring boys.
There was a this was while. There was a female referee which they kept referring to as a lady referee, which was hilarious.
That was weird. Yeah.
And then I think this is where my favorite and least favorite part of this documentary, both at the same time, happened. Where the lady referee accused Vince of sexual harassment and rape,
which nobody's surprised about,
right? And
nobody was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that."
So here's why it's my favorite and least favorite part, and you'll understand why. He denies it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, they deny everything as a corpse, right?
But in the same breath as him denying it, he says, and even if I did, the statute of limitations is over, so you can't even get me for that.
That's Trump type
shit. Which was a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. He just didn't want to get caught.
The only worst thing that he could have said was, yes, I did it. That was
when you get away with shit for so long,
insane.
You just become impervious to it. He's so insulated, and he's making people so much money that they obviously look the other way. Because you have to imagine, like, when these revelations came out, there's got to be a lot of people who've heard this stuff before and knew about it in the organization. Nobody was like resigning in mass or anything else, even to this day.
It's just crazy that he had the gall to say something as crazy as that.
They don't give a fuck.
I mean, it doesn't shock me that he said it, but it shocked me.
He's 82, and he knows that he's probably not going to live.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you live 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That was crazy. The episode ends.
These guys have to wake up every day assuming they're not going to get caught and go to prison. Otherwise, they can't do the shit they've been doing for decades. They couldn't operate because you would just like cocoon up. So they just stay in fight mode 24/7,
constantly looking over the shoulder.
Be jacked up on. Have they ever said he's all on cocaine or anything like that, or is it just testosterone?
And shit, yeah,
it's just like fucking jacked.
Huge.
He's so hyper too, as well.
Yeah. So the episode ends and we get a glimpse into what WCW is starting to become. Hogan leaves WWF, which creates kind of a rift between him and Vince for a little bit.
WCW.
Because he has a contract with Vince, and these are all contracts that we learn are handshake contracts. Nothing's ironclad, which is crazy.
Yeah, because who's more trustworthy than Vince McMahon, right?
It's the opposite. Vince is the one that's trusting because they all tell them,
"Oh, right,
I want to leave." Right. And that's it. So Hogan says he wants to leave.
But I think that Vince McMahon is taking these handshake contracts for his benefit at first, and then they kind of turn it on him.
I'm sure he is.
Because it's like, how many times are you sure that he owed somebody money and you never paid and you don't even hear about it?
He's bought up so much talent and acquired all these wrestlers that when they leave and he asks them, hey, you're not going to go wrestle at a different company, are you? They say no. Who else is there to wrestle for? He bought everyone else. He doesn't see WCW as a legitimate competition.
That's why I don't cry for, And you know what? WCW made WWE much better, right?
It did. And then in the end it did.
They went through their attitude phase and where they
competition. Yes.
Yeah, the competition always makes products better, I think.
Welcome in, JC. Lance and Vince are essentially the same person. I'm just going to say that right now.
Lance and Vince are nothing alike.
Essentially the same person.
Lance is the sweetest little gentleman.
Down to the allegations.
No, Lance. Let me tell you who Vince McMahon is. Vince McMahon is like, he'll like corner your fucking cousin in a locker room and like, it's like these guys are like openly groping people.
You had it right the first time.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what Vince McMahon's like.
Yeah. So
fucking horrific.
We end that episode, and then we go into the third episode.
And I would like just to make a note on the technical aspect. I think that it's a very well produced, directed documentary from the creator. Or the director from the Tiger King. It was I was really into it. Like I watched the first 4 episodes back to back to back. I was like into it. I thought it was really well presented. And I'm a big documentary fan in general.
Did you have a favorite episode?
I like the screw job.
Yes.
See, I'm a Bret Hart guy.
I was just gonna say that.
You keep saying Bret doesn't have any charisma.
He doesn't.
I think he's a lot of charisma.
Doesn't.
Yeah, but he's fighting for the working man. They dropped him from the fucking ceiling.
That's Owen Hart. That's his brother. So
go fuck yourself. This is great. Bret Hart hated working with these wrestlers. Go fuck yourself. See, this is the energy that I need.
I consider myself.
Let's watch his top 10 moments.
I consider myself a petty person.
Because he's Canadian?
I will never be as petty as Bret Hart hating Goldberg for the rest of his life.
They killed his fucking brother.
No, I'm not talking about him and Goldberg.
They dropped his. Do you think they fucking dropped? I know they did a big investigation.
Not on purpose. I don't think they did it on purpose. No, absolutely not.
But you're not surprised they did an investigation, though, are you? Right?
No,
you have to investigate that.
Well, they have to.
Like, you wouldn't be surprised if they came back and said, "Oh yeah, they fucking did this on purpose."
I legit would be shocked if they murdered a fucking wrestler just to get back at a dude who left, because they didn't do it before.
Man, you're right.
So yeah,
I choose not to believe that.
So
it's like the manufacturer knew that there was a manufacturing error in the harness that they were using, and then like, who makes a harness that's your only job is to like hold people, and you make it so bad that it fucking doesn't work? That's crazy to me. It's so crazy.
That's what it is. Okay, so
make sure somebody didn't get paid under the table.
Maybe
who knows? On the way at the NLRB,
maybe
at OSHA.
So we while we're watching this top 10 moments. The third episode is called It's not a poncho. It's called Screwjob, which it mentions. It references the famous Montreal Screwjob. And we'll get into that. But there's so much to that.
We're on episode 3, right? We can talk about it.
There's so much to. I'm talking about the Owen Hart thing real quick though. There's so much to that Owen Hart incident with his tragic death and all that stuff. There's so much more to that, and there's so much more, like a deeper dive to do. If you go watch that Vice documentary, Dark Side of the Ring, it's what's called, or Dark Side of Wrestling.
Dark Side of Wrestling.
Dark Side, yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. They did a very good episode. I mean, a lot of their episodes are great. But they did a very good episode on the Owen Hart tragedy. So definitely go watch that. That's a fantastic episode.
I mean, the brief really summation is that really that was the brother of a person they had a lot of labor instability with, the Hart brothers.
Yeah.
And then one night they kind of made a clown out of him, right?
Yeah.
Like because he needed the money, and so every time they would like dress him up like in a fucking chicken suit, or just make a laugh out of him, or a superhero suit. And then they always had him like doing these dangerous fucking things, like being lowered from the rafters.
Yeah.
And they just fucking dropped him one night.
And
he died in the middle of the ring.
If you go back and watch clips of WCW with Sting, they drop Sting from the rafters. Like legit just like throw him off and go land on your feet. And
then they keep wrestling. They don't end the fucking event, right?
Okay,
that's fucking cool.
So you have
to tell the people
worse than I mean, not worse from Owen Hart, that tragedy, but as far as like how they would make Owen Hart just fly through the air and then land, whatever. They legit just threw Sting off the fucking rafters and said, just make sure you land on your feet.
Oh yeah,
like,
I'm sure. Yeah, listen, they do that. All these fucking guys jumping from like, even Vince McMahon's son made some crazy dives, right? Those are my from the top of cages and shit.
I can't wait to be getting those. Are my fucking favorite things in the world.
And then so it's like, okay, so Bret Hart is like, I don't know, he's a pro-union guy. He's a pro-advocate for the other wrestlers. He's always like, he doesn't kiss Vince McMahon's ass like Hulk does.
They never mentioned the union in regards to him, though. But I'm sure he was.
Well,
but
because when they tell everyone that it was Hulk Hogan that ratted everyone out, he's the one who said it immediately. He's like,
oh yeah, true.
Hogan ratted everybody out.
Yeah.
He's just like a truth teller. He's just like one of these guys.
He tells you straight.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Listen.
So we get into the Screwjob episode, and it goes over more about the whole the drug trial that Vince has to go to, and then it goes into wrestlers needing to make more stars, in absence of Hogan being gone. I'm sorry, in place of Hogan's absence, and they come across Bret Hart, and they even mention it Bret Hart is not very charismatic, and he wasn't. He just
why
wasn't.
do you keep saying that about Bret?
This
is why this is going to be diverted for another 20 minutes.
He wore pink.
I found
it was
to
weird.
But
it was very weird.
What is the nature of charisma? One person's charisma is another person's antarisma.
I don't look at Bret Hart and go,
I like
well, he's stoic. Cool.
Don't you think like a stoic can be charismatic in some? He's not flash. He's not like Macho Man.
No,
he's not Macho Man. He's not. But he's like playing himself mostly, right? He doesn't really have a character, Bret Hart,
right?
As much as he's like the Undertaker is clearly there's a differentiation between the Undertaker. Right?
There's something about a guy that just is standing there and doesn't do anything, but he can kick his ass. That it just isn't really interesting to me. Because he's pretty one-dimensional to me, Like he's not going to sit there and be like, and cut this whole promo about how you're the worst, this and that.
He's a baby face, though, right? He's your classic baby face, somebody for everyone to root for.
I mean,
right? Is he a baby face?
Yeah,
he ain't a heel.
For the most part, yeah, baby face.
I mean, look, he's got a pink under tank on. He's got a tank top on. It's like
King. And then there he is. Right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different styles. You would have famously Shawn Michaels accuse Bret of cheating on his wife with another wrestler, and then Bret's response was, "I'm gonna kick your ass." That's not creative. It's just straight to the point,
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have the one of the things Vince McMahon could do is really improvise and really perform. He was an amazing performer. All of the ring scenes he did, especially as he progressed and got older. I mean, he was an excellent performer. And I don't know. I mean, I guess Bret Hart is not all that.
I'm not downplaying his work as a wrestler, his performance, his abilities. I mean, people argue that he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest wrestler ever.
Well, the greatest wrestler ever is someone named George the Animal Steel, and I'm going to show you this match right here.
That is what Lance's shoulder hair looks like.
This is literally my favorite wrestler. Okay, there he is.
That's crazy.
That's wrestling.
That's crazy.
Riz. He's rizzing you though. Look at him.
That's a hairy man.
This match is so problematic.
He's essentially wearing a. Well, what, Coco Beware?
Okay, and then what are they doing? Coco Beware.
That's Kamal.
Kamal? No.
That's Kamal Harris.
Coco would never come out like that. Oh, come on, George.
Just poking him. Look at this. Didn't George Animal Steel eat the turnbuckles?
What's wrong with you guys? You can't make shows like this.
This is crazy.
Who is the guy with the jungle cap?
I don't know.
Is that the manager?
Probably, yeah. He's the guy that lured Kamal away from the jungle.
Look at the fucking... George is like a spring. He's about to coil. Didn't he fight Hulk? I think he did.
He probably did, yeah.
All the time. How about George versus
King
Andre?
Kong Bundy? God
How come we haven't talked about Andre?
We didn't talk about Andre.
No, we didn't. We haven't even mentioned Andre one time. He was the big ticket. Christ, when I was growing up, Andre the Giant was bigger than Hulk Hogan by
he was in
quite a bit.
Princess Bride.
Except for when Rocky 3 came out.
Is it in the turnbuckle? That's what he did. That's what he used to do. That is crazy.
How great is this guy?
That is crazy.
It's not crazy.
He's a crazy person.
See, this is when wrestling was fly.
Is this when wrestling was fly?
It's like 85. What 84, yeah.
84, yeah.
This is when Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou Albino.
Albino?
Albano. What's his name? Captain
Albano.
Lou. Just call him Albano.
His shirt on. Oh, there it goes. There goes the shirt.
He does a lot of standing and pointing. Are you gonna make a move, George?
He's sizing up. He's sizing him up.
George, I love this guy though. Look at him.
Oh, this isn't even top of his game, Hogan. This is regular Hogan.
Yeah, but look at George. He's doing it. I love George Animal Steel. Why isn't this guy more of a legend? He's such a good actor, though.
He's pretty shitty wrestler.
Come on, you guys have to wrestle soon.
Let's go. You guys got to. Oh, he's on the ground.
Let's go.
On the ground already.
Oh, now it's buffering. Hold on, everyone. Don't worry. We're gonna get to this.
So yeah, we didn't mention Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant was 20 feet tall.
Andre the Giant's amazing.
He was larger than life. He was a guy that helped headline WrestleMania 3. Yeah, WrestleMania 3. He I guess he had left. I'm not too familiar with Andre the Giant, but I guess he had left, and he was done with wrestling. And then Vince pulled him back in, said, "Hey, come back. I need you for a big show."
Broke his fucking back. He was in the movie The Princess Bride. His back was fucking. He was like, "Go get a surgery." He gave him a payday.
Yeah, Vince paid for his surgery, brought him back for WrestleMania 3 for a big match, which was Hogan versus Andre the Giant. And then two funny things happened at this point of the episode, where they talk about Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant, how it's the first time it's ever happened. And then famous historian Dave Meltzer comes out and like, it's happened like 20 or 30 times. Like, this isn't the first time. It's always happened. And is that Mean Gene? It is Mean Gene.
Yeah, that's fucking Mean Gene and George. This is everything. This is everything you need.
The Detroit.
Listen to this.
The sound doesn't play.
What do you mean it doesn't play?
There's no sound. There hasn't been sound. I don't know.
It's crazy. I'm sharing. Because I'm not sharing the whole window. Probably.
There's a little tab that says share audio. Also, when you do that, it's probably not clicked on.
There? Hold up. My share audio is on.
Is it? Are you doing the window Chrome tab?
No audio still?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. George is over here changing his diaper by the camels.
He's not.
Could you imagine?
He's just standing there. He's not changing his diaper. Just standing there.
Yeah. Why isn't this guy a bigger hero to you? Look at him.
He's crazy.
What do you mean? Why? Look at him. Look at him.
I see him.
He's everything. This should be some character that they bring back.
He's dead.
No. The character, not him, but the style of wrestler.
Yeah.
What about he's in the WWE Hall of Fame?
He is.
You don't even care.
Don't care. I literally don't care.
Okay, this is gonna be a George the Animal Steel podcast for the rest of the.
It's not what this is.
Yeah, but Gene loves George. Look, they always do shows together.
Everyone.
What happened to Mean Gene? How come he's still not around? Did he just like get older and like?
I think he passed away.
Was that a bad falling out as well?
I don't think so. I think he just. I think it just everything just passed him by essentially.
I want to know something. During the Attitude Era of WWE, did they go too far with the daughter and some of the storylines? It's like there was a storyline that was canned that Vince wanted to claim that he had a baby with his daughter.
Did not surprise me at all. I'm watching it and he's like,
I don't know if I would treat slapping your kid.
There was a storyline where
so emotional.
Stephanie got pregnant, and then we would reveal that
Stephanie, stay strong.
That I was the father. Of course, you were going to do that. Of course. Why wouldn't you?
I love that in the interviews, Stephanie's always like smiling and like, "Oh, I love it. I love to be humiliated by my family on TV." It's like you hate it. I know you hate it. Stop lying.
I love Stephanie. God bless her.
Why do you love Stephanie? Tell me more about Stephanie.
I always had a crush on her when I watched it when she premiered. I had a crush on her.
Of course, because you're a young man. Yeah. Everything. I used to crush on the Sears catalog. I crushed on every fucking thing. A Stiff Breeze, right?
Stiff Breeze, okay.
I talk about the Luann comic strip all the time.
Yeah. Wait, do you think you're as sexual as a person as Vince McMahon?
No, because there's no allegations, and there's know what I'm saying. No one is ever going to say.
Hold on.
Pragpro really said something dark the other day in the Discord. Nobody's ever said that to you, right?
That's not true. That's not true.
I only do it in the public. No, I think there's a difference between when you're a performer, like Vince McMahon wanted to pretend to be a performer.
Vince kept saying
and when being your real self, and like
he kept bringing it up.
When you cross the line, like Vince McMahon does, that's the difference.
He had a whole
actions.
He had a whole fucking.
That's the difference.
Diatribe or whatever, where he was saying how his brain works as two computers. One is constantly working and thinking about the now, and they asked him, "What's the other part of your brain thinking of?" And he goes, "Something about sex."
Adderall. Getting more Adderall and Coke.
It's like, what the fuck, dude? Chill.
Because it's like he's lucky he ended up a successful person, because like I said, he could very easily have become a bank robber, because he has like, what is the word I keep looking for when you cannot suppress your desire to do things, right? Oh, Jesus.
I want to live in that world where Vince is a bank robber. I want to live in that world.
There's bank robbers around just like Vince McMahon, probably. No. He's very smart. The thing about Vince McMahon, he's very high IQ person, very smart. But it's like he doesn't have any. His daddy didn't teach him any fucking ethics or morals, because when you grow up the way he did, it was like a fight for life, and there was no like.
I think his dad was there, but
it was a grind.
He wasn't there. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't meet his dad till he was 12, and then it was like more like an employee situation. Yeah. Like you have to figure they're not hanging out every day. He's in Maine, and his dad is in New York, and it's like the phone calls are probably like, "Hey, Vince, so what's going on with the ticket sales in Bangor, Maine?" And it's not like they were like bonding or anything, but but he gave him a chance, and he took it. That's something that's admirable, but at the same time, you can't like molest your employees.
Right? Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
You can't molest your employees, everybody, or don't molest anybody. Upon. Not only your employees,
not your employees. Anybody.
Don't molest.
Don't molest anyone.
Unless it's date night, and that's what you're into.
Let that be a lesson to you, Lance.
Always get consent.
Don't molest your mods. Do not do that.
Lance from Saints.
Leave us alone. Consent. Leave us alone, please.
We're just looking at this magnificent wrestler, the GOAT of all time.
Get out of fucking George Steele.
What are you talking about? It has everything I want. A red pantsuit, George the Animal Steele, a wing. Look at the fucking what are these called? It's so wide. The collars.
Epilepsy.
Look at the face. Look at the face work he's doing.
He's just staring off in the distance.
No, but he's doing more than that. Because now you're glued in. Now he's on fire. He got himself on fire.
How?
So you would never think to do that. He's got like a cigar or something. He's got a lighter. They gave George a lighter. They're going to try to get it away from him, but they can't pull it away from him.
Is that Harley Race?
So strong.
What the fuck? Oh, he's a lighter. Right. Okay.
What's he got a green tongue for? He been sucking on a sour apple lollipop?
That's
exactly what happened, right?
He did it again. He keeps doing it.
I'm going to make you fall in love with George.
I don't know. I'm never going to fall in love.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
He works out. He's been in the gym. All right. The Attitude Era. You think, it's like, and also they used to like hit the kids in the ring and like,
hit the kids.
Your daughter.
Kid? Oh, well, yeah. His kids.
Wasn't there a scene where he like cold slaps
everybody was slapping each other. The mom was slapping the kids. The kids were slapping the mom.
Linda McMahon didn't really mix it up too much though, right?
No.
Linda was just kind of like there.
But she did get her shots in, though. She did get those in.
I remember she ran for Senate in Connecticut and got cooked.
Lance, this is wrestling.
That was against Chris Coons.
Thank you.
But she's always been the business side of the deal, and she keeps everyone in the corporate world happy, I guess.
That's what they said.
Shoveling money. Look at
that
Captain Lou.
Captain Lou, yeah.
This is when I grew up. This is what they were offering to me as a young person.
Terrible.
As opposed to the New York Knickerbockers with Patrick Ewing. And of course I picked Patrick Ewing.
Well, yeah.
But now I like it.
Yeah. So they did mention how Linda was the business side of the company while Vince was the creative / promoting side of it. Yeah, so in episode 3, which we've been stuck in for 45 minutes.
No, we went to the Attitude Era. I have episode 4 Attitude. We've been talking about the daughter and the son. We
passed the whole screw job thing. It was the whole thing.
Okay.
So
talk more about it.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So the Montreal screw job was a famous incident that happened where WCW was getting bigger. They were signing all these guys, and I think
it's a macho
Vince
man.
said that he couldn't pay Brett what he wanted. So he negotiated with Brett for some reason to help him negotiate a better deal or a good deal with WCW.
Yeah.
So in exchange for that, he was going to drop the belt on his way out, which makes sense. Just what you do,
Right.
But unfortunately for Brett,
Brett was like, "Fuck you."
He didn't want to. He said, "Fuck you." No, but
don't you think that might have been a storyline too? Sometimes I wonder.
No, I don't,
some of the shit that they're saying was a fuck up was really part of the story, and like there's a double quadruple switchback here.
It's
like the Spanish Prisoner. It's like David Mamet plays sometimes.
For that one, I don't think so.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
I don't think Brett had any. I don't think Brett had any issue dropping the belt at all.
No.
I think he had an issue dropping the belt to Shawn Michaels, though. I think that was the bigger deal, and which they mentioned.
Why doesn't he like Shawn Michaels?
They're just two different guys. You know,
jelly?
one guy is out there showboating, throwing his fucking
I didn't
dick
get
around.
You say Shawn Michaels is charismatic, but I didn't get anything out of Shawn Michaels.
He's out there gyrating, telling people to suck it. Some of that. Yeah, he did. He did. Except for an interview.
I don't remember it saying. It was like I like that Bret Hart had like shit to say.
Shawn
like,
Michaels now
real things to say.
Is very different than Shawn Michaels then. Like
okay, I saw him. He looks like a deflated fucking balloon.
Yes,
right. He's like his hair's falling out. He's too much fucking.
Don't say that. He's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. Don't say that.
Now he's just a fucking paper mache dolly.
No, he's awesome right now. He works
the guy
with
who does
WWE still.
Is it Jake the Snake that does the
with the snake?
No, they do yoga. Who's the guy? Who's the yoga guy?
DDP.
Okay, I love that.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page. Shout out.
Changed a lot of wrestlers' lives. Helped them out. You know.
Mick Foley just made a whole fucking campaign video for Harris.
Yeah, that's
Did
weird.
You see that?
That's weird.
It's weird. I don't know. Why does everyone have to pick a side in WWE? Mm-hmm. It's like the Undertaker did it, so now I have to make a video. And it's like this whole society's crumbling.
It's all of it's gone. We're all falling apart.
And then I don't know, man. I don't know what happened with the screw job. And you're right. He was supposed to give up the belt, but he refused to. Yeah. And so the referee just called him out, right?
Yeah. So Vince had told Shawn Michaels and Triple H, hey, we're going to screw Bret, essentially. He won't give us the belt back. We'll take matters into our own hands. So while the match was happening, Shawn Michaels puts Bret into his own finishing move, and he puts it on wrong, which is hilarious. So Bret coaches him in the ring like, hey, you put it on wrong, dummy, switch the other leg. So he switches the leg, and then, the referee just calls the match right away. Everyone's confused. No one knows what's happening. Bret didn't tap out. What the hell's going on? And then we find out pretty quickly that Vince screwed over Bret to get the belt back.
Of course.
He's
the heel, and Bret's the good guy.
Yeah, that went down as one of the most famous controversies of WWE. And I think that like really started
manufactured. Though. Do you think that wrestling fans really care about who holds the belt?
Yeah,
because it's 100%. All scripted, though.
No, but it's you. When someone has the belt, you want their defenses to be worth something. You want the person chasing them to matter. It's just all an investment, essentially.
Like George Steele.
Yes. George Steele.
Like he's someone who shouldn't have the belt, right?
No, he shouldn't have the belt.
What do you mean?
He shouldn't have the belt.
Look at him. Look at the moves.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, Honky Tonk Man versus Steele. It was on 4/20/1987.
Fantastic. Jimmy Hart. There you go.
Yeah. George does a lot of standing and pointing.
Yeah, so then we get to the Attitude Era, which was a crazy era, which everyone looks fondly back on the Attitude Era. And I do also. But it was a very crazy time. They were getting their asses kicked by WCW. WCW had signed all these big talents, all these former talents of WWE, some of them in their prime, like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, which were Diesel and Razor Ramon. They went to WCW, and that essentially is what one of the biggest moments in
Eric
wrestling.
Bischoff is fucking ridiculous.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah, we were really kicking his ass.
Doing, though. He knew what he was doing.
Until he wasn't, because he didn't have this. He couldn't sustain it, though, right? He could do a flash, but he couldn't do it for year after year.
I'm going to get into why there's so many fucking problems of WCW.
Okay, let's get
crazy.
Into it.
So when WCW started doing their thing, whatever, they weren't really that different. They started getting into more reality-based storylines and kind of started to blend the line a little bit because of they mentioned in the show of them being live and Raw being taped, they were able to kind of get people onto WCW that were on. I mean, this happened multiple times. A guy would appear on Raw, on WWE Raw, and then you turn on to WCW live, and the guy would show, that same guy you saw on Raw would show up to WCW live because it wasn't taped, and Raw was taped. And that happened multiple times. So you have these guys just cross on the same night, being two different companies. But Morgan, Raw, WCW, and WWE are two different companies.
WCW was owned by Ted Turner, who was from CNN, and it was like a big, I guess, like, I don't know. It's just like another corporation's attempt to compete.
Yeah,
with WWE. I love the fact that World Wildlife Foundation forced them to change their name.
That always pissed me off, and I never knew that the World Wildlife.
Well, they had the fucking rights to
Foundation was around longer than WWF. I didn't know that.
Them. Yeah, because Big Wrestling doesn't want you to know that.
Yeah, you know that's right. Big Wrestling suppressed that information. You're right.
Vince is never going to tell you that. No? He's always going to tell you that. It was always WWF.
Mm-hmm. So, when WCW was doing their thing, at the time they had Hogan, they had guys like Randy Savage, they had all these guys.
Yeah.
And they decided to do, I think, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, heel turns in professional wrestling. And that was turning Hulk Hogan heel.
Yeah.
And forming the NWO, which was arguably the greatest faction in all of wrestling.
Yeah, I remember there was much more swag for NWO than anything else.
NWO was everywhere after that. It was the coolest thing.
It's like when a major label, a record label, makes like an indie label within the label.
Yeah,
sort of.
It's exactly what it was. It was the the counterculture. It was all that shit.
Yeah, it just stole the thunder from the real underground wrestlers, though, right? And that was the intent. Like, we're just gonna like McDonald's supersize this right now, and like we're gonna take over the people who like that.
Right,
and it worked.
So that was such a cool thing to see, and to experience. So NWO blew up. They became a whole thing. They almost became like a separate brand. It was pretty crazy. They had all these different wrestlers join NWO, which, again, WCW led for a while on WWE as far as ratings. But the bigger that the NWO got, the worse it became. And I think that's ultimately one of the reasons why WCW started faltering, because literally you had WCW. I'm sorry, you had
the problem with AstroTurf. It's inauthentic, and so you can't do grassroots shit at an AstroTurf level for a sustained amount of time, because it's not nouvelle, it's not novel, it's not fresh, it's not coming from the bottom up. It's a top-down synthetic version of a real thing.
Mm-hmm. So the essentially how the faction broke down is you had WCW, which was huge, and then the inside of it is a little mini version of another company, essentially, which was the NWO. And as the company grew and took more, as NWO grew, they took more members of the actual WCW and made them part of the NWO, to where you had more people in the NWO than WCW. So you had more heels in the company than faces, which is not good, because when everyone's a bad guy, no one's a bad guy.
They weren't thinking about their roster then. They weren't thinking about chemistry and balance. No. It's like you have to set it up like a fighting game, like Mortal Kombat. You have to have a balanced roster, right? So you can, because if you're telling stories and you're telling little plays, then you have to have different characters.
Yeah.
And if you have all the same fucking character, then there's not enough food for all these characters to eat, because there's only so many storylines.
And their solution to this, which I think was a solution but didn't work, was they would do offshoots of NWO. So you essentially had you had heels turning heels against other heels, which makes no sense. So you had like the NWO is the classic black and white. That's what it is. And then you had the black and red, which was the NWO just red, and they were called the Wolf Pack. And Sting, which was a good guy and fought against the NWO for the longest time, he joined the NWO in one night and then quickly revealed that he wasn't in the NWO. He was in the Wolfpack, which was the red NWO.
You need a fucking chart. You need like, okay,
you did.
program.
You needed so many different things.
Because you know what factionalism does? It creates more merch sales, right? Because your buddy's like not in the Wolfpack, and so now you have the fucking Wolfpack gear.
But
it's just fucking brazen marketing.
But you have a company like New Japan that has like 5 or 6 factions, and they're completely different.
Well, they're fly.
They are.
Japan does it diffy.
They're way too fly.
Japan does it diffy.
So then
I've had the pleasure of watching New Japan wrestling with Abba Box and his Discord some nights. So good. And that's the guy you have to watch.
It's so different
because he knows all the guys. He knows all the characters.
Those New Japan guys literally beat the shit out of each other. Like that's
great.
Borderline real.
And then they always have blood too. Like they have the razors, right? And so they just like they hide a razor and then they just kind of cut themselves a little bit. But in a place where it bleeds a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so it looks crazy.
I'm not gonna say the WCW was being racist. I'm not gonna say that. But it's just funny that they said, "Hey, let's make an NWO for Mexicans."
Oh no! Well,
and they did,
but they've been doing that forever in wrestling, right? I mean,
no,
it's like
it was
Iron Sheik. They've always placed people against each other based on
the Mexican wrestlers together in one faction. Called the LWO, which was Latino World Order, and the colors were the Mexican flag, which is hilarious.
Didn't take off, huh?
It didn't take off.
I mean, they're just trying to find ways to cobble things together to electrify different demographics any way they can. But like if they think, they asked a focus group of fucking 12-year-old Latino men, like, wouldn't it be sick if there was like a fucking Mexican American faction or whatever? And they were like, yeah, sick. And that's all the thought they put into it.
That's not a lot of thought. So
it's not.
Arthur said Latino World Order.
It's the circus.
I want Latino World Order. That's what I want.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, everyone likes
One's
that.
in chat.
One's in chat for Latino World Order.
All right.
So I think that's when WCW kind of started falling apart because it became too many cooks in the kitchen and nothing started making sense anymore. It started becoming really bad and it just fell apart. And
it just was cheesier. It was just WWE is not cheesy as much as it's like campy, right? And so it was like, I don't know, man. It just seemed like redundant. But it sold well. I mean, when they came out with the TNT night, because this is the deal on TNT. They have the NBA on Tuesdays and Thursdays usually, and then they had that open night, and they already had a huge audience for the NBA, and a lot of the same kids and people that age like the same sort of stuff, and so they stuck around for it. It was smart.
Yeah,
but they couldn't sustain it because their writers were not that great.
No, see, that's something that they glossed over.
They would never do a George the Animal Steel Randy Savage match.
They wouldn't.
Because it's just so fucking cuckoo.
That's so good.
And this is the thing that's an entry point for a lot of people into wrestling is the funny stuff. And sometimes they were not trying to be as funny, especially during the Attitude Era. It was just trying to be very intense and as X-rated as they could. And it wasn't as silly as it was. But they had to grow up too.
Like I said, if you don't know anything about wrestling and you want to get a base knowledge of things, again, this is going to talk a lot about Vince, but you also get a base knowledge on things that happened during this time, and you grow from here. But like I said, they didn't expand on a lot of things, and one of the things they didn't expand on was the worst writer in WCW, which was a guy named Vince Russo, which they did show, but they didn't mention him. But he was a guy that was a writer for WWE, and he made some good stuff. I can't remember exactly what he made, but I remember him saying I remember reading he made some good shit. And then he left, and he signed with WCW, and he wrote for them, and he didn't know how to write well. He was terrible at it, and he made himself champion, which made no sense. He just didn't know what the hell he was doing. Now, this goes into one of my favorite wrestling conspiracy theories, is that Vince McMahon didn't fire or didn't intentionally let Vince Russo go to WCW. He purposely sent him over there to kill WCW. And that's one of my favorite conspiracy theories. Because if that's true,
that's
it
so
worked.
complicated.
It's so complicated, but it's also hilarious. And I think it's one of the
probably not. He just paid him more.
Yeah, maybe. And then
I feel like any of these guys would go anywhere for a little more money.
And we got Prag here watching King Kong Bundy against Jimmy Superfly Snuka, who killed his
these
girlfriend.
Are the greats. King Kong Bundy is like a proto animal, Animal.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka killed his girlfriend in a hotel, and then got away with it. And then when he was being tried for it later, he just was mentally
they put it on the playlist
to stand the trial. So that was great.
Okay, they put it on the playlist. How about we just do the 50 greatest ring names ever slideshow, and we just get off that.
Ring names?
Yeah, the ring names. Slideshow series. There he is, Andre the Giant. You want to talk about Andre the Giant? I love Andre the Giant. He was very fun to watch. The fans loved him.
He's just a big dude.
No, I know he's very big though. I know, but people loved him. I don't know why.
He was different.
He was just so big.
You didn't have guys like that big.
He's from France. And he had a little acting career. Princess Bride was good.
It was very good. It's a great movie.
Who's this? Who do you want to talk about? This guy?
I don't know that guy.
You don't know who he is?
I don't know who he is.
What about this guy? Are they just going to show us?
Is that Mikey?
Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
Talk about the Ultimate Warrior.
Terrible person in general.
Another piece of shit, right?
Huge.
That's the word on the streets.
Yeah.
What did he do?
I think he was a big homophobe guy. I think.
Did he just like while he just like
No, it was like after.
Afterwards?
He became super Christian and
one of these guys. Okay.
But you know what's crazy?
Just another grift.
Hold on. Before we move on from this, there was another conspiracy theory that involved something I like.
Here's an Apple box.
There is a conspiracy theory that the Ultimate Warrior changed in appearance at one point, and that the theory is that the real Ultimate Warrior died, and they wanted to replace him, so they got one of the Von Erichs, which we watched that movie Iron Claw on. They got one of the Von Erichs
which is
to
a great
replace
movie.
him. And they that's like the conspiracy theory that one of the Von Erichs was secretly the second Ultimate Warrior.
Come on, that's too complicated. Some of these theories need to fucking. They're just too complicated for me.
It's a lot.
I think that these theories just get like stuff added to them constantly, and they've just become so convoluted.
Yeah,
you just keep adding material to it. Who's this guy?
I don't know.
See, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for in wrestling. I don't see enough of this anymore. I just want a dirty, older gentleman in an old sweater with bad hair maintenance.
Right? Why is he dirty?
I'm not saying he's physically dirty. I'm just saying he looks like he does dirt in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like a dirty wrestler, not like he's dirty. And then there's Gordon Ramsay. What do you want to say about Gordon Ramsay?
That's Chris Jericho.
That's Gordon Ramsay. I know
Chris
about
Jericho.
Hell's Kitchen. You can't trick me.
Chris Jericho with a heart imprint on his
What do you think about Chris Jericho?
I think Chris Jericho is a fantastic wrestler.
He's popular.
I don't think he's that great anymore, but he was. Big Boss Man. Okay.
I remember him.
He was crazy.
Heel.
Yeah. Look at the Freebirds.
Oh.
Yeah,
look at Minji.
Michael
Look at
Hayes.
the fucking focus.
Look at Michael Hayes'
the interview.
Crazy.
Draw. Look at the nose is pointed right over here, and it's going to bounce off here, and it's going to go here. And he's looking over here, and they're looking at each other, and they're like, "Oh, will this do?" And he says, "No, you're clean."
Even Morgan knows who Chris Jericho is.
Undertaker. Everyone loves the Undertaker.
The Undertaker.
He was a more athletic version of Andre the Giant, though. He was just a giant that was built real big.
Yeah.
Was Undertaker athletic though?
Yes, he was.
Okay, fair.
I don't know what that guy's doing. Jesse Ventura. Okay. King Kong Bundy.
King Kong Bundy. Oh yeah.
Ooh, Vader.
Who? Oh, is this Gorilla Monsoon?
Is it? Kind of looks like him, huh?
I don't know. This looks like Madison Square Garden stuff. No idea.
Bret Hart.
You're telling me this is not charisma?
No.
This is the poster that's going right above my computer right now. It's going to be Bret Hart.
So every day you can
This
see
is the
Bret.
shot.
Every day
This
you
is
can
the
see
most
Bret.
perfect. Oh my God. Make sure we screenshot this later. Okay, let's keep moving. Look, CVS got in the shot. Oh,
Like
then
Kamala.
this is the problem. It's like,
so earlier.
what are we doing though? Do we really need this sort of figure?
Yes.
I guess. John Belushi's here.
Yeah.
Rowdy Roddy. What a wonderful actor. When he was in that John Carpenter movie,
They Live.
what the fuck was They Live? God, what a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw him coming as an actor. I think he was the best, like, first early crossover actors.
Could have done a lot worse, yeah.
He had so much charisma, though. I could never understand.
He has a lot of charisma.
He is so good with the interview. And so, is he still around? Is he still?
No, he passed away years ago.
They hit him in the head too much with a chair.
Yeah. Unprotected headshot.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that Bros or Broody?
Love this scene though that he's created for himself.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to ascend. Oh, there's
Hogan.
Hulkamania. Listen, you couldn't escape Hulkamania for a good 10 fucking years. And it became so annoying. Like from 85 to 95. And it's like they hit you over the head with it so much that they made you not like it.
Yeah.
And then he was a dick the whole time. And then what was the deal? Like he had a radio talk show host friend, right?
Oh, Bubba the Love Sponge?
Bubba the Love Sponge. And then Bubba the Love Sponge predilection was, yeah, but this is the key. He was a bit of someone who liked to watch his wife be with other men, right? Is that the deal?
Yes.
What do we call those? A cuck?
A cuck.
He's a cuckold.
A cuckold.
But then that came out because he sued Gawker magazine, which was the owner of Kotaku.
Yeah, so
right?
a shit website, yeah. So someone leaked the sex tape. I don't know how they got it, but someone leaked the sex tape and they sent it to Gawker.
Yeah, he leaked it.
Who?
Man Sponge leaked it.
Oh, did he?
For money. Probably.
Okay.
I mean, that's usually what happens.
Well, if he did, it went to Gawker, and Gawker released it in full.
Right.
And then he sued them for that.
And then he won. And then they fucking ended up having to sell Gawker, and then it got bought by Peter Thiel and turned in, or some shit like that, or some fucking other craziness.
Mm-hmm. So
it was a bad day for the media.
And then Peter Thiel sued somebody because they outed him as gay or something. I don't remember.
Peter Thiel's fucking nuts. Yeah, that was another Gawker thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Gawker also. That's right.
See, this is the kind of wrestler that I grew up with. He's not taking care of himself. That's a lot of sodium.
He's not. That's
you see the bloating?
Yeah.
That's just hot dogs.
A lot
and
of
then
redness.
He's got a spray tan.
Yeah.
A lot of redness, a lot of ruddiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take care of yourself, buddy.
Excellent hair, though. I'll give him that. CM Punk. Okay.
What do you think about CM Punk?
He's all right.
Controversial? A lot of people. I thought
a little bit. A little bit.
He was just like a. What was? Tell me CM Punk.
He
story,
was. Okay.
People don't know.
So CM Punk is a guy that built himself up on the indies, indie darling, I guess you would say, and then he wrestled Ring of Honor for a while, which was.
Didn't he do something else before
indie,
that? Was he like
not
a comic book writer or some shit? Or?
That was much later.
Or was he in like music? Or didn't he have like
no. He's
okay,
purely wrestler.
Okay,
as far as I remember. And then he went to WWE. Had a pretty decent career. Did a lot of shit. He started like kind of like an uprising, kind of sort of. Like he's like, you're not giving guys like me a chance. You only give guys like John Cena a chance. People love that. They rallied behind him.
Regular guy.
Yeah. But he just ultimately just didn't like that whole culture and what had happened. They treated him badly. He got hurt at one point, and they kept just. They never really wanted to get him right. They just kind of wanted to patch him up and just get ready for the next match, essentially.
Right.
Which he hated. And one day he was getting married, and WWE called him on his wedding day and fired him. So
that's so weird. He was probably trying to organize too, or some shit.
Maybe, yeah. So he hadn't wrestled for like.
And then he went to UFC or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was UFC. Yeah, he hadn't wrestled for a long ass time, and then he goes and jumps into UFC, gets his ass kicked immediately. Like bad. He has 2 matches, he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just disappears again for a little bit. AEW gets started up, joins
Right.
AEW, has a big second coming on his debut appearance on AEW. Basically shits on WWE, says that wasn't the right place. Listen, that blah blah blah. I'm here now. I'm ready to go. Wrestles a couple times, gets hurt immediately because he's old. And then he wrestles. Comes back, wrestles again a couple times, gets hurt immediately. Starts not liking how things are at AEW.
Right.
He views it, as far as I can remember, he views it as the inmates are running the asylum.
Okay.
So he doesn't like it. Gets into a fight with one of the other wrestlers in the backstage area, which leads to him turning to his boss, Tony Khan, yelling at him, and according to Tony Khan's words, making him fear for his life.
Sounds like story though.
So
it sounds like scripted story.
They fire CM Punk from AEW, and then in a weird, bizarre turn of events, CM Punk has made his way back to WWE.
Of course. Yeah, right.
And he's there now, and he's doing pretty good.
Can I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret? I'm gonna pee my pants.
Okay, you go pee.
I'm gonna pee my pants if I don't get to take a tinkle. Can you hold the mic for 2 minutes?
I got it.
Tell everyone how much you love everything.
I don't like
whatever you like.
I don't like this.
Tell them something. Tell them something fresh. It'll be secret. I'll never hear it.
I'm gonna finish going over the episodes while you're done. Yeah, see, he'll never know. He'll never fucking know, chat. So, because we're gonna go over the fucking episodes because he's not here. He can't stop me. All right. So we go over the Attitude Era. We get to a point, by the way, in the Attitude Era where Owen Hart dies, which is very sad. He gets repelled down from the rooftops or the Raptors. There's a terrible accident. He falls from the Raptors, hits his head on the turnbuckle, dies. Very sad. Vince McMahon decides the show must go on because it was kind of dark when it happened, so no one saw. Terrible, shitty thing to do. On with the show. The thing I didn't know that I first found out about in this episode was that Owen Hart's blood was on the mat. I didn't know that. So the entire time they're showing this on the documentary, you see Owen Hart's blood on the fucking mat. It's terrible. So yeah, so that was the whole thing. Vince got sued for it. It turns out he wasn't liable for it, and everything was okay. But obviously someone died, which is terrible. And yeah, that's the end of the Attitude Era episode. Yeah.
You want to talk about this guy, Ric Flair?
Ric Flair.
See, I like to get your comments on each one of these wrestlers. That's interesting.
Yes, Arthur, Owen Hart was in WWE. I thought Owen Hart was pretty overrated, honestly.
Yeah, he was built like a thumb.
Yeah. But then again, I all of my experience of Ric Flair is like way later in his career.
Right.
See, he had already had his good matches, I think.
Right.
Although his retirement match against Shawn Michaels was pretty amazing.
Who's this guy?
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Super charismatic. Wonderful. Flamboyant. Fantastic.
He has no business being this charismatic, but he's out here doing it. Look at him.
He makes it work.
All you guys out here, and it's like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. Look at fucking Dusty Rhodes. Look at him. He has no business doing anything in entertainment, but here he is.
That's right, Arthur. There's a big controversy with Vince and Brock Lesnar. That's why they're not in there.
Brock Lesnar did something horrible to one of
Vince McMahon's.
What? Yeah, he is. They're all scary.
Never gonna talk ill of Brock Lesnar and murder me.
How about when they knocked who slapped the fucking the taste
John
out of John
Stossel? Oh my god, that was my favorite fucking part.
Is this fake?
Twice.
Bro, he cooked him, bro. And John Stossel
that was crazy. He smacked the shit out of him twice.
There's nothing going to protect you.
And what about fucking Belzer?
They're used to slapping people. I feel like the Belzer thing was a fucking put on.
You think it was a work?
I don't know, man. Did he ever win any money from that?
His head, I don't know. His head hit the fucking the ground. It snapped from the ground.
I guess it was like something that was not supposed to get out of control, but when they slapped the shit out of can we see that? Why are we talking about this John Stossel?
Yeah, watch the John Stossel thing. That thing is crazy.
John Stossel. Is not one of my favorite
I forgot
guys.
who hit him.
I wish my audio worked.
Dave Schultz. That's right, David Schultz.
See, it's all fake.
Hold on. Pause it.
Hold on. Oh shit.
Okay, so people don't know. They showed this in the documentary. John
Why doesn't
Stossel,
the audio work?
I don't know. John Stossel had did an expose kind of to actually it was a report, but it was essentially an expose, and they were trying to expose the business of wrestling. But everyone thought they were in on there to cover one of the WrestleManias or something like that, to promote it. And they interviewed John Stossel interviewed Hulk Hogan, and he's asking him a bunch of questions, and they're very pointed, aggressive questions. And what did Hulk Hogan do?
I think we have. Okay, yeah.
Hulk Hogan immediately went to Vince and said, "Hey, some shit's happening. You should check it out." So Vince gets upset. He goes into the locker room and he tells the locker room, "Hey, just watch out for John Stossel. He might be saying some stuff. I really wish someone would take care of him." That's what it's all he said. According to Tony Atlas and other guys, that's all he said. I wish someone would take care of him. I heard that.
Is the audio working?
I heard that. It's
okay, good.
It's kind of loud.
All right, let's get fucking.
So then, John Stossel went and interviewed a wrestler named David Schultz.
There he is.
This is what happened.
All right, let's check it out.
Jamie, go ahead and play it, Jamie. Perfect. That's perfect.
I'm so scared right now.
Slapped the shit out of him twice.
Clipped him so hard. The second time was so
that is
hard.
Crazy.
You know what he did to that man? He took his soul.
He did.
When you slap a man like that on TV and everyone sees it, you can't.
That's crazy.
Changes things, man. It's tough.
It's literally insane. What did you do to share that?
I did the whole thing.
A presentation?
Shared my whole window.
Oh, whole window, okay.
Or actually, my whole entire screen. Let me see if this works. Hold up. Audio?
No. Audio.
No. So you have to share the whole screen. That's why. All right. So now we know. Probably, I don't know. Computers. There's so much fun.
You did entire screen?
Entire screen. And
what
then
were you doing before? Window?
I was just doing window.
It says right here under the window part, to share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Okay.
I could do this. Tab. Okay. Tell me if this works.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Now we know how to do it. All right.
Interesting.
How about we have a slaps
compilation?
Just look at all the slaps. Is there a top 25 hardest slaps? One of those Cutwaters. You use Cutwater?
Ooh.
Okay. Where are we in the discussion?
So now we're on to the family business portion of it. That's episode 5. So the family business part, that's when WWE buys WCW. WCW have failed pretty much. So Ted Turner agreed to sell it, and Vince bought it. Now I don't remember them going over this in the documentary, because they bought it and they turned it into a storyline with him buying it. And essentially what they did was they simulcast Raw and Nitro at the same time. And Vince was on Nitro and he's like, "Hey, I bought WCW." And I don't think that they did the reveal on the documentary. I'm pretty sure they know. So I'm going to tell you what happened, and you tell me if this rings a bell. So they do. So, okay, screen is on. It's on Nitro. Vince shows up. Vince says, "Hey, I bought WCW. This is the last episode. It's mine now. After this, it's all done." And then WCW continues on the way it continues on. Raw continues on the way it continues on. And then at some point in the night, on the WCW feed, Shane McMahon, who is Vince's son, Vince has 2 kids, Stephanie and Shane. Shane comes out, and no one knows why he's there, but they're assuming, it's because, his dad's the owner now. So he comes out, and he talks, and he addresses everybody. And then they put that feed onto the WWE feed, and he's talking to essentially his dad, and he goes, "Dad, congratulations. This is a good night for everybody. But you're right about this. The contract to buy WCW does say McMahon on it, but it does not say Vince McMahon." And then he goes on to reveal that Shane has bought WCW. And that led to a kind of awesome yet very disappointing storyline where they had
sounds like a contract. It sounds like a business transaction.
Right. So Vince thought he bought WCW, but he didn't because his son came and sniped out underneath it. So now you have two McMahons owning two different companies. Vince wants to consume WCW and take up all it has. Shane does not. Shane wants to keep it separate. So now you have WCW is still alive. They rebrand as far as the look, but they're still WCW. So then there's another company. There's a third company called ECW. Right. And secretly, WWE actually used that system a lot, and they kind of loosely owned it, but not really. So they officially bought
That's how they hide their assets.
Yeah.
You're just talking about what corporations do to hide their assets, probably from civil litigation.
Oh, yeah. So yes. They bought it. They brought that in the storyline, but Stephanie bought ECW. So now you have three companies. So essentially, these two other companies are they invaded and attacked WWE. So now you have WCW and ECW.
They were all owned by the same people at the same time, right?
Yeah. But they all hated each other.
So manufactured factionalism, right?
So WCW and ECW both agreed to align themselves with each other. So they became the alliance, and they wrestled against guys at against WCW. I'm sorry, WWE. So you had a pay-per-view, which is Survivor Series, which is a huge pay-per-view, always in November. And that one is always where it's like that Survivor Series is always team versus team, essentially.
Right.
So this one was specifically the Alliance versus WWE. And there's stakes at this point. If the WWE lost, the Alliance would buy out the rest of WWE, and Vince had to leave forever. But if the WWE won, then the Alliance would go away forever. So obviously, WWE won. But there's a lot of turns and a lot of heel turns, and it was awesome.
The Alliance was tired.
And instead of
the brand didn't go over.
Instead of getting rid of the Alliance, Vince just separated them and said, "Hey, you guys can still exist. I'll just use you guys across different things."
Right.
Except he got rid of WCW, so that just became one thing, and it was WWE and ECW essentially. Kind of, and it worked for a little bit. But the biggest thing that sucked about this crossover fight was that none of the big stars in WCW came over in the fight. They all just stayed home because they all said, "Well, my contract is guaranteed, so I can just sit at home and get paid. I don't have to show up." So that's all they fucking did.
Don't blame them.
So we missed out on a lot of good crossover at that time, which we got kind of later, but it is what it is.
And so when Vince McMahon got pushed out of the company, doesn't Stephanie and her husband take over the business essentially? Is that the current state of affairs?
I don't know what the
who's
hierarchy
running
is.
WWE right now?
Who's
doing the stories?
Triple H.
Triple H, right? Mm-hmm. Do you like him? Is he
love
popular?
I love Triple H.
Okay.
I always liked Triple H as a wrestler. He was always one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. And then when I learned that he was stepping away from wrestling, and he was doing the booking and the creative talent, which they don't get into this at all. But there is essentially a minor league wrestling company called NXT, which is still owned by WWE, but essentially they're the minor leagues of WWE. And once they get to a certain point, they call them up to the main roster.
AAA.
Yeah. So Triple H essentially ran NXT. And NXT was in its golden age. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of stars. They got guys from other companies and brought them over. They built up their own stars. It was awesome. It was pretty good. And then the whole thing happened with Vince and that whatever, and everything got shuffled around. Vince.
You mean the pervasive sexual assault culture that went on for decades?
No, not that. In the background, yeah, I guess.
Oh, in the background, yeah.
But Vince
light stuff.
had taken over NXT, and arguably he ruined it. So Triple H could do nothing but kind of watch.
XFL?
Yeah, that too.
He fucked the XFL up?
Which the XFL, the XFL actually influenced the NFL at some points.
Sure.
So that's pretty
Absolutely.
crazy.
And
It's some
it's
good
like the
ideas.
problem with all those competitive leagues, there's not enough players to play good football at that level for minor leagues, I think.
No.
Because that's when it always breaks down. It's like there's not a lot of fucking
Because they were getting
400-pound
college guys who
athletes that can play
weren't
offensive
drafted.
line. Yeah, Canadian guys, and like if you're gonna watch minor league football, I mean, CFL is probably where you go. Canadian football league is pretty good, but
They
it's
got
still
Tommy
not the
Maddox,
same.
who played for the Steelers.
Oh yeah, it was Doug Flutie. He was fucking crazy. He
Yeah.
went up to Canada. He won like 6 Grey Cups, and then he came back down. And for someone who's 5'7"
Mm-hmm.
to be an NFL quarterback, you have Doug Flutie's crazy.
What was the college you played for?
But yeah, Boston College.
Boston College, that's right. That's where the Hail Mary came from, right?
Yeah, we want to see that.
We're never gonna get through this fucking series.
Just joking. No, we're through it. Listen, we're doing it. This is doing the work. I'm just joking.
But yeah, no.
I'm gonna change it.
He got NXT taken away from him, and it was bad.
Right.
I didn't like it. But then everything happened with Vince, and he went away, but not really. He's still kind of there. It's only recently where Vince has been completely gone. So basically, from January till now, January of last year, maybe January last year, I think. Till now, that Triple H has pretty much been entirely in creative control.
Right. He's popular with the community.
From a fan standpoint, wrestling has never been better as far as storylines, as far as talent, stuff like that.
Well, it's a big business now.
Right.
There's no fucking around, I bet. Because you got fucking NBC's involved, Peacock has the thing, Netflix is in there. Some could
argue that creatively Vince did a better job. I'm not going to say who's right or wrong.
It was wild.
Some could argue,
for sure.
Right? What you can't argue, which I think, and maybe it doesn't hurt Vince, but I think it's a big shot to his ego. What you can't argue is the WWE has never been more profitable than it is right now, and it's all under Triple H's reign.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
because they're getting big contracts with these multimedia companies.
When Vince first stepped away,
big business.
They kind of acknowledged it, but then they're also like, "Thank you, Vince," this and that, whatever. So they still kind of referenced him here and there. When he didn't step away the second time, he was forced out. When he was forced out, they don't mention him anymore. On the first WrestleMania that was under Triple H's regime, they made it a point multiple times to come out and say, "This is the first WrestleMania of the Paul Levesque," which is Triple H's real name, Paul Levesque era, and they kept saying it over and over again. They kept bringing him out and giving him his flowers. It was like such a burial of Vince. And then even at the WWE Hall of Fame event where they enshrined the new Hall of Famers, they enshrined a guy named Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman is a legend in the business. He's an amazing booker, a fantastic guy on the mic. Has worked a lot with Vince, and has worked a lot with Triple H. But he's he's worked a lot with Vince, like a ton of it. He's an old school carny, just like fucking Vince is. But during his Hall of Fame speech, he made it a point to bring up Triple H and thank him and say, like, "I'm a Paul Levesque guy," which was, again, another fucking pile of dirt on the grave of.
They did a nice job of like a royal succession.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's never been better. They
don't want any factionalism in the community. They don't want all the fans to say half the fans like one guy and half the fans like the other, which is a natural instinct for wrestling, because that's what they sell every week is division. And that's why they have to everyone's united. This is all,
People still have problems with Triple H, like his booking, and I get them to a degree. But if anything, he's shown that
people have to talk about something, right?
Just give me some time, and I'll make it work. He's done.
Seems to understand the business.
Especially someone who's been in that long. He's done.
Does he have scandals? Does he have scandals? Is he doing dirt?
His scandals are more of like on screen because of what he had to do, like
Yeah, I'm not
because of
the
Vince.
on-screen ones are not the problem, right?
But
That's
it's
just acting. That's just
yeah.
theater.
But as far as like behind the scenes stuff, I haven't heard anything. As far as like probably
What do you
being
think about this Doug
like an
Flutie?
asshole. Doug Flutie was all right.
Do you think he can help the Cowboys?
Not now. Actually,
Yeah,
maybe
he
now.
could probably sling it still.
Probably, yeah. Look at him. Look at him evade everything.
He's tiny. If he's 5'5", it's not even 5'7". They would never give someone this size a shot nowadays.
He had to go up.
Most
up
quarterbacks
and
are like
over with all his
6'4".
throws. That's great.
Yeah, but they never batted it down. He knew how to find those passing windows.
He had to rainbow it
Like
all
he
the
knew how
time.
to throw through the, because like if in this day and age with the tall defensive tackles, they would just like come up straight armed and like you can't. But he could move too. He was a good. All right, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
All right, okay. Family business. Are we at the big finish? And then we can talk about the World Series a little bit.
Let's just go right to the big finish.
Right? I mean, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, how the series ends is, again, it gets a little into the allegations of what's happened recently with Vince. Not a lot, but it gets into a little bit. The episode starts with the Chris Benoit incident, which is insane. Chris Benoit was a very talented, amazing wrestler. Dude was like a legit psychopath from a wrestling standpoint. And one day he had just disappeared and didn't tell anybody where he was, but he was at home and he murdered his wife and his son. He strangled them to death essentially, and then he killed himself. Very sad.
CTE.
Yeah, no one knew what it was at the beginning, and WWE obviously they blamed it on him just being a crazy person.
Right.
And then people were going around saying it's obviously steroids, obviously roid rage, which obviously it wasn't.
Wasn't there a controversy with the funeral or something? The memorial?
I don't remember. Well, there's that thing, the memorial they put on air, where they were like glowing about him and saying how great he was, and then as it's airing on Monday Night Raw, news is starting to come out that he murdered his family. So that's what that controversy is for that. Turns out, what they think happened is okay. So backtrack a little bit. Chris Benoit was the kind of guy who just went balls to the wall all the time. He's from that age of just you go out there, you do it. You got to do everything you can. He would do a flying headbutt where he would just jump out and just kind of drop, and he would hit his head on like the meat of your shoulder or like maybe on your breast a little bit. Sometimes he would just hit the mat and miss you completely.
He would headbutt the fucking ground,
right?
Or he would flying headbutt.
Yeah, and sometimes he would do it right, sometimes he wouldn't do it right, and there's really no correct way
check it out,
to take a I remember the seizure. Yeah, this is crazy.
Okay, this is why this will make you
this is
not
insane.
feel well. I can't imagine, bro. And then what does that do to your shoulders and your fucking back? And you know what I mean? If you land on your stomach from that height on basically
that's crazy
wood,
it's insane.
It's not good for you.
No. So
here you go. Here's a compilation.
Yeah, that's a good episode too on Dark Side of the Ring, the Chris Benoit thing. It's a whole thing. I think it's a two-parter. It's fantastic. Yeah, look at he just goes straight to the head. I don't
know what.
That's also a time when these guys were taking unprotected chair shots to the head.
Oh yeah, which was concussion. Yeah, so many concussions, and you know what? There's a real problem in even soccer.
It's a
with
real
concussions from
folding chairs. Hey, what's up, DWC? How you doing, buddy? It's
Oh, Daniel William Clark. Let's go.
Love Daniel William Clark.
Let's go Yankees, huh?
Yeah. You will not gang up on me like this.
We're gonna do a baseball preview after this. Yeah, the fucking dirtbags are coming out.
The fucking dirtbags.
Yeah, here we are.
We're gonna have, or no, sorry. These are real folding chairs or they hit each other on the head with them, just blatant shot to the head.
If you hit me with a folding chair, I might die.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they take them straight to the head, to the face,
it
all
hurts.
that stuff.
It's gotta hurt. It's
it
metal.
And they're not swinging it lightly.
It's velocity.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt.
And they did that all the time.
This ring is just wood.
All the time.
This is just plywood.
Mm-hmm.
And if I fell from any height onto plywood,
the ring is essentially a ½ inch of foam on top of plywood.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
It's crazy.
It's got to be so painful when you're done with this.
So as I was explaining to Flame, human bodies are not meant to do this shit.
No.
We've evolved in certain aspects, but we've never evolved to do this. We have baseball players that have been around for hundreds of years, and they throw 90 to 100 miles an hour, and they still have not evolved to the point where that's normal. Throwing a curveball, throwing a fastball is such an unnatural thing for a person to do.
Sure.
So throwing your head against someone else's body is not good.
Someday people are going to look back at this time period and be like, what the fuck were they doing? Yeah. It's going to look like the gladiators in the Colosseum. And the only difference is, like, we don't open people up with swords and, like, feed people to the lions. But this is what they do. They feed them to the lions, but they don't get fed to the lions until they're 65 and they have a head injury. And, like, they just have a miserable life. And, like, they never get any peace from it. And so you don't see the long-term violence.
There's a wrestler from Japan. His name is Katsuyori Shibata. He's a fantastic wrestler. He's a good-looking dude. He's just a straight-faced dude that will just murder you. Fantastic wrestler. He is just, again, balls to the wall. He had a match with this guy named Okada, and he just head-butted him, head to head. It wasn't like he didn't do anything where he like tried to cushion the thing.
I used to have a headbutt move. I'm not gonna lie. I used to headbutt my brothers.
You? That's crazy.
You know what? You think that headbutting is hard? It's not that hard.
It's quick.
It's not. It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah. You would think it would. I guess not.
No, you have a hard part of your head right here.
Yeah. See, I don't headbutt people.
But you have to understand. My brothers were 10 years older than me, and so I had to do certain things to survive. And I used to do something where I take my open palm and stick it under your armpit, and there's a lot of pressure points in there, and then finish that with a headbutt. Or I'll give you the headbutt and then the underarm. You know, it's complicated.
1-2 combo. Brothers. Yeah.
We used to have pillow fights where there was multiple concussions. I'm sure. You take the pillow and like you take the fucking pillow and then you like pack it in. You know, like as deep as you can, and you just like roll it. It's not the pillow.
Yeah.
And then when I just fucking cook you like fucking Jason Giambi with this thing, so that's why I'm not so great in the head. You didn't have. Did you grow up with siblings?
I had a younger sister.
You didn't beat her with a pillow.
No, but I pushed her into a rose bush one time. That was pretty funny.
You did. Tell me that story.
Allegedly.
Go ahead. You got to tell the story.
I forgot what happened. We were in the backyard playing.
Real young.
She was riding her bike in the backyard. There's like a little path that goes around the perimeter of our backyard, and she rides in front of me. And there's a rose bush behind her against a wall of the house. And I don't know if we got in a fight or if I just was being a dick. It's probably I was being a dick. And she came by and I just pushed her over.
Got him.
Yeah, and she fell.
Oh, she must have fucking loved that. That must have been very painful.
She fell into the rose bush.
She never trusted you again.
No, she still trusts me. She fell into the rose bush.
You know what you should do?
What?
Push her into another rose bush.
I still bring it up to I'll bring it up to strangers in front of her, but I always say that she does it to me, and she gets mad. I'm like, she pushed me to a rose. That's crazy.
You're gonna catch a rose bush. You keep it up.
I know, right? So
and then she was covered in thorns and shit.
So
that's terrible.
She was like stuck in it, and she was like, I can't get out. And I was like, hey, shh. Like, chill. I'm trying to calm her down, and I was like, I go, okay. I was like, she's like, help me, and I go, well, I can't get you out. I don't know how to get you out, so I'm gonna go get Dad. Don't tell him I pushed you in there. So then I go in there, and then I'm like, Dad, can you get my sister? She's stuck. And he's like, what the hell happened? So he goes out there, asks my sister, what happened? Michael pushed me into a rose bush, and I'm like, oh my god damn it, ratted me out right away, son of a bitch. So I got in trouble.
Of course she did. Because what did she have to lose at that point? You can't help her.
I can't do anything for her.
And you shouldn't have just pulled her by the shirt and just picked her straight out.
No, because she was all like cut up on the side, and it was like,
well, she's gonna get cut up no matter what.
I feel like if I pulled her out, would have been worse. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
You're not playing Briar Rabbit.
No,
Briar Rabbit.
Yeah. So yeah, that was funny.
It's miserable. My brothers. This is another fun thing they used to do. When I'm like 7 and they're like 17.
Mm-hmm.
We have a dog named Fritz. Now Fritz used to like to go under the bed and chew on electrical cables, like if there was like a heating blanket, and so he had like electrical shock on it because we didn't see him. He was under there chewing on the fucking cables.
Yeah,
he had like cuts in his tongue, and he used to shock himself a lot. So he wasn't right in the head. He used to run away all the time, and he would run right through a screen door. Anyway, they used to hold me down and like let the dog lick my face.
Oh, that's nice.
Too long.
Wait, like longer than it should have been.
No. And then you know what tickle torture is?
No.
When they tickle you and it's like you can't breathe anymore.
Oh,
right?
man.
But you're laughing because it's involuntary, but you can't breathe anymore. And the dog is licking your face and he's in there with his tongue in your mouth. And they just love to do that. And they fed me little dog biscuits.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Oh, you should eat this dog marrow. And I was 7. And so that turned me into a fucking street fighter, though. That didn't go on when I was 9 or 8 because I figured out ways to circumvent all those things. You want to feed me to the dogs?
I don't want to feed you any dog biscuits.
All right. Are we done with McMahon? Are we going to talk about the World Series? Is there any summation? What did we learn about Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon is a terrible, terrible person who is larger than life.
Performer.
A fantastic
smart,
booker.
But evil.
Yeah, smart but evil. That's good. So yeah, like I said at the beginning,
right.
If you don't know anything about wrestling, I think this is a fantastic watch. But if you,
it's a good show.
If you do know anything about wrestling, I'd still watch it. It's not bad. So yeah, go check it out. And then now we're transitioning to our World Series preview.
Do you want to see this Kirk Gibson home run?
I'm sure is not going to deviate. Oh yeah, let's watch it.
Come on.
Too loud.
Do you have audio?
Too loud. Way too loud.
What's that?
Right there. That's fine.
How's that?
It's fine. This is the 1988 World Series Game 1.
I watched this on TV.
At Dodger Stadium.
Oh, what happened? My shit went away.
Just a little background on this. Kirk Gibson was literally operating on one leg.
And I'm living in San Jose, and Dennis Eckersley is a god. And this is like Canseco, Wire, right? Or was it pre?
No, that's Canseco.
We hated the Dodgers. My dad hated the Dodgers. I don't need to break this to you.
I don't remember
the Dodgers as a Yankee guy and then a Giants guy.
There was talk that if this moment came up, Gibson needed to be ready. So Gibson was underneath the tunnel, taking hacks, getting ready for this moment. I don't remember who told him, but I think someone said if Eckersley gets to a 2-strike count, watch for a backdoor slider. And that's what he waited on. There's one pitch he throws that just really shows how fucked up Gibson is. I think he swings and he almost falls over.
Yeah, he's very injured at this point.
Yeah,
People
he's
don't
on
know.
one leg.
Basically,
right there.
And then Eckersley is a fucking smoke show. He is the best pitcher in the league. He's an amazing closer, right? He was very dominant in this era.
This is called by the amazing
They really believe they're
Vince
going to
Scully.
hit it, though. The Dodgers don't seem too surprised. The fans.
Yeah, they're winning 4-3. 2 outs.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mike Davis, yeah.
McGuire before the steroids got to him.
Oh, prior to this too, the guy on first base, Mike Davis, when he was up to bat, Mike Davis with the Dodgers was not the same Mike Davis that played with the A's, I think. And Eckersley pitched to him like he was a threat when he wasn't. So that allowed Davis to get on first base.
Was Ricky Henderson on the A's this year?
Ricky Henderson's still alive.
No. Was he on the A's during this World Series?
I don't know.
Ricky Henderson was the best baseball player I ever saw play in my life, and I went to a lot of games. He was phenomenal.
He's fantastic.
He was probably the best. I swear to God. Best. He, as a base stealer,
100%.
Nobody, as a leadoff hitter, as someone who could hit for power if he wanted to.
If he got on first, he was on third easily.
Oh yeah, Eckersley looks a little tired here.
He should be tired. 2 outs.
What is he throwing, a cutter? No.
Oh, just foul.
See, that could have ended the whole fucking thing.
It could have. He was out in front of that too.
He's not that banged up though.
He is. He's on one leg.
What do you mean he's on one leg? He's walking like I walk.
Look at that, right in front of it.
Okay, there he's not. He doesn't have speed, but he can still. He probably moves better than I do. Of course, you're overselling it.
Ooh, tried to get him.
Hassey.
Ooh, not close, but
McGuire's off the bag. Bad. On any one of these, if he connected, he would have been out. He's just waiting for a bad pitch, and he gets one. Is this going to be the most DMCA'd episode of Three Grandmas ever? Hopefully.
Ooh.
Bro, I don't remember how long this battle went for.
The whole at bat.
Whole ass at bat.
Or Hershiser.
Tony La Russa, great manager.
Famous drunk driver, Tony La Russa.
Yeah. Okay. Now I had an idea that we could have a watch party for the World Series, but you don't feel you're too constrained. Maybe I should just turn the iPad on while I'm watching the game, and you can watch me watch the game.
I'm not going to watch you at all.
No, you're just only tuned in.
I'm sitting on my couch. And that's it. One thing. That's the game.
What do you do during the commercials? Punch yourself in the wee-wee?
Yeah.
This is what I do. I tape shit. Give it like 90-minute lead time. Don't listen to anything to find the spoilers, and then I go right through the commercials. And it's so much more
my
enjoyable
sister's going to be messaging me like crazy. I can't do it.
With no commercials.
I might even go to my sister's house and watch it, maybe.
Who has home field advantage?
Dodgers.
We don't need it. The Yankees travel. All right, here we go. Steve Sachs later became a Yankee where he won a World Series.
He won this World Series.
Another one, a real one.
This is a real one.
A good one. You know he wears these Yankee ring. Not the lost the Dodgers one in the shower.
There it is.
Got him. He hung one. Yeah, that's gross.
Tried to get him with a backdoor slider. Couldn't do it.
All right, let's talk about the lineup. Anthony Rizzo, first baseman. What do you want to say about Anthony Rizzo? He bats .429. He's got a 500 OBP. Okay, he's got a little power, but not a lot. You worried about Rizzo?
No, too loud. It's too loud.
He's come on late. He's got a little power. He came from the Cincinnati Reds, right?
No, he came from the Cubs.
Rizzo?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Right. You're right. He did come from the Cubs. Exhilarating. All right. Gleyber Torres. We all know about Gleyber. We love Gleyber.
All right. So
I call him Gleb.
So this is crazy. The Dodgers will make their 22nd. Is that right? The 22nd World Series appearance?
No.
That's not right, is it? Dodgers World Series.
The Dodgers couldn't make it in Brooklyn, so they had to leave.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
What's going on with Birdie? I don't know anything about this Birdie guy.
The
John Birdie?
Oh, that is.
You worried about John Birdie?
No, not worried about anybody.
Got him. Ding dong. You better watch out for someone like John Birdie. John Birdie is exactly the kind of problem that you don't want.
Dodgers been to the World Series 21 times. 11 of those times, pretty crazy. 11 of those times are against the Yankees. 20s? Just crazy.
That's crazy.
This is the fourth time the Dodgers will be making the World Series in the last 8 years. They won in 2020. They lost in 2018 to the Red Sox, a vastly superior Red Sox team. They lost in 2017 to the Astros, who we later found out cheated. So we had that one stolen from us.
They stole fucking from the Yankees too in the ALCS. I remember.
Yeah.
Fucking why is that okay? Why are the Astros still around?
It's not okay.
See, now I'm going to get crazy.
It's
when you brought
okay.
up that
literally
year,
not okay.
Why didn't they just say, "Okay, Astros, you're done. You can't have a team."
It's not okay.
Because now they must keep doing it.
They were fined.
They didn't even get a fine.
Yeah, they were fined. I think they lost one draft pick. Their coach.
What are you talking about? How can you give somebody the World fucking Series?
Their coach was suspended for the year. I believe one of their bench coaches, Alex Cora, who who was a former Dodger, by the way. He was suspended,
Right.
and he was a manager for the Red Sox that year, so he was suspended that year when everything was found out. Another guy who was a player on the team, Carlos Beltran, who I think played for the Yankees also at some point in his career.
Yeah, he did. Wait for the Mets.
In Mets too, yeah. He was a key part of the sign stealing scandal. He had, when this news came out, he had just been hired as the Mets coach, the Mets manager. So they essentially unhired him, and he wasn't a manager anymore, which is hilarious. And that's it. That's all that happened to him. No players were suspended. Nothing else.
I don't understand. I mean, and the fans are okay with that?
No one's okay with it.
But what is the recourse, right?
At the end of the day, Rob Manfred, which is the commissioner of baseball, all he said was, it's just a piece of metal. That's all he said about the trophy.
What the fuck?
Which is crazy to say.
Then what are we doing?
Who knows?
Why bother? Chisholm.
Verdugo,
Chisholm's crazy.
Former Dodger. Chisholm, supremely overrated.
How's Mookie Betts looking? Is he
Betts
healthy
doing great,
right
yeah.
now?
Everybody's
he's going to have an injury. I'm going to have to take him out.
No, everybody's healthy.
There's going to be a couple guys who's going to get injured during this series. Okay, one of them is Mookie, and one of them is.
Are we talking about the World Series, or are we watching clips?
Yeah, we're talking about it. We're watching. People are looking at the Yankees. They're looking at the Dodgers, and we're talking about the World Series. What do you mean you can't hear me talk?
It's too loud. It's way too loud. Can you hear me now? I can hear you now.
How's this? All right, I'm sorry. It doesn't sound that loud in my headphones. It's super loud. The mix is different. I'm sorry, gang. All right, let's talk about the World Series. What are your keys for the World Series? One of my keys is get Chaz Chisholm Jr.
Jazz Chisholm. Okay.
Get Jazz Chisholm. Say Jazz Chisholm 5 times fast right now.
Do that
Jazz Chisholm.
Do that right
Jazz
now,
Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm. I'm going to Jazz Chisholm all over your back.
You know what?
This series.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
I know you love it. You're going to learn to like it. What did Mike Tyson tell that one man at the press conference? I'm going to fuck you till you love me.
Yes.
That's the most terrifying thing you could ever hear.
That's not even the worst thing he's ever said, which is crazy.
It's pretty sick, though.
What? Hold on.
That's kind of sick.
I forgot.
Like
there's an extra line at the end of
that
line. There's an extra word at the end of that line.
I'm gonna fuck you till you love me.
Which you're not gonna say. Then I can say the extra word at the end of that line.
I'm not gonna say that. But because that was all extra.
Let's see.
All right, what are your keys? You want to look? I'm looking at the lineups right here. We got Rizzo, Torres, Birdie, Cabrera, Volpe, Aaron Judge, Chisholm.
In this lineup for you guys, in this lineup it has Torres at second, Soto in right field, Judge in center, Giancarlo at DH, Chisholm at third, Rizzo at first, Volpe at shortstop, Austin Wells at catcher, Verdugo in left.
That's a pretty good lineup.
Now, obviously, you guys have a very, very top-heavy lineup. But once you get to the bottom, nothing.
But you don't know about Jazz Chisholm. He'll get on. Yeah, his on-base percentage is not great.
Jazz Chisholm is a very mediocre player.
He is, but he's gonna. This is the kind of time that these guys.
So that was so I go off advanced metrics because I think they tell a lot of the story. So in 2021, Jazz Chisholm had a OPS plus of 95. OPS plus is your total offensive value essentially, and and the average is 100. So anything over 100 is basically the percentage you are better than average. So in 2021, he was 5% below average. In 2020, which was a shortened season, he was 138. So that means he was 38% above average. So he had a great season. He was average. It
doesn't measure Jazz's heart in a big game.
It doesn't matter.
When you need to steal third.
He was average.
He's going to do it
in 2023. This year,
it's going to be the game-winning.
This year, he was below average in Miami, but the moment he got traded to New York, something turned, and he was 30% above average. So he's been great.
He's in the boogie down. Look at Juan Soto. Look at his fucking numbers. They've been exemplary this offseason. His OPS is 1.106, right? 6 runs, 11 hits, 2 doubles, 8 RBIs. You got to fucking do something about Soto. You got to cool him down because he's hot as a motherfucker. 7 walks, 8 RBIs. Juan Soto's a problem.
Has 5 hits in this postseason.
Okay.
He is not getting on base at all. Barely gets on base. So not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Just pitch to him.
We'll find out. You're worried about any of the pitchers? We got some good pitchers too.
The only person I'm worried about is Garrett Cole, but some of our hitters.
Weaver's pretty good.
Hit Cole. What's that guy you got? Nestor. Nestor's coming back apparently.
Nestor's coming back. Hopefully he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone like Rodon.
Carlos Rodon,
who's got 22 Ks, right? Carlos Rodon. That's a nice middler, right? That's a nice middle reliever, which is the key to a World Series, right?
But he's not going to be the middle reliever. He's a starter.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry.
He's
been hot. My point is he's been hot lately.
Yeah. In the ALCS he had 10 and 2/3 innings pitched. He only allowed 3 runs, so that's not bad. It's pretty damn good. 15 strikeouts.
Tommy Kahnle is the middle reliever, right?
Tommy Kahnle, who has thrown like 48 changeups in a row and no one's hitting him, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Clay Holmes is the other long reliever.
Clay Holmes was your closer. Routinely gets lit up.
Set up, man. But often gets sets himself up. The
back end of your bullpen is very suspect. Actually, your entire bullpen is very suspect.
Yeah. Someone's gonna have to step up.
So my keys to the game
Weaver
would be to neutralize your big 3: Judge, Soto, and Sam.
And Jazz.
No.
Jazz Chisholm.
Literally all you have to do. If you can get around those guys, we're going to be fine.
Okay.
We have a fantastic bullpen, but the key for that is we can't allow you guys to see our bullpen too much because you're going to get used to it. So we're going to need people like Yamamoto and Flaherty and Buehler to go a little bit in length. So we're going to need them to go probably 5 or 6. If the bigger the lead we can build up, the better it's going to be for us because then we can throw guys out there that you're not necessarily going to see in big moments.
What are the odds on this World Series right now?
It's 50. It's essentially 50-50.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like the Dodgers are so much better.
We're favored like a little bit more, but it's essentially a dead heat.
I don't know why because I'm looking at on the paper. I feel like the Dodgers are. I mean, you guys have a lot of mid guys.
Mid guys,
like Freeman's kind of lid right now.
What are you talking about, mid guys?
Well, I mean, Gavin Lux is kind of fucking mid.
Gavin Lux has been playing
Freddie
fantastic. Freddie Freeman's hurt.
Who else? I'm looking at their numbers.
So, okay. What numbers are you looking at?
Chris Taylor. I'm looking at their playoff.
We just scored
statistics.
an NL record 45 runs in the NLCS.
I'm looking at their last 40 at bats, and Chris Taylor's batting .250.
Chris Taylor's not going to be in the lineup.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying Andy Pages
Pages kills lefties. If you put a lefty on the mound, he's going to kill you.
He's batting .211. He's got where is it? 770. On base percentage is not bad.
He's going to kill lefties.
I don't know. Well, why is it even then? Why do you think it's so even? If you have a better lineup and better pitching, why is it even?
We have. So our lineup is deeper than your guys's, but we don't have that good starting pitching because we only have 3 starting pitchers. You guys have 3, possibly 4. Our best pitcher is Yamamoto, but he doesn't have the capacity really to go 5 or 6 because literally all our starters are coming off of injuries. So they're all just.
What about Blake Treinen?
Blake Treinen, he's a reliever. Like best case scenario, Yamamoto, Flaherty, and Buehler are going to give each possibly 5 in the best case scenario. Dream scenarios, they all go 6, but it's going to be tough to get there because, like I said, they're just
like Evan Phillips.
Evan Phillips, a reliever.
Yeah. He's got a good statistics. 6 innings pitch, .90 WHIP.
But Garrett Cole can pitch a fucking complete game. Like that's huge.
Yeah, but that's one game.
No, I know, but that's
you know what I'm saying.
That's a vastly big advantage to our.
Sure.
If he can pitch 7 innings,
keeps everyone fresh.
Yeah, then guess what? We can't get into your bullpen. If we can get to your bullpen,
you can get to 8th inning. If you have a starter that can go 7 or 8 innings,
we don't have that.
Tuned up.
That's why you guys have advantage on pitching. But if you go straight bullpen, you guys have a couple of good options in the bullpen. We have like 5 or 6 guys in the bullpen that can just tear people apart. But yeah, it's pretty much just going to be.
So what are you going to do if the Yankees win for me? What do I get?
What do you
if the
get?
Yankees win.
What do you want?
What do I get?
What do you want?
What are we gonna wager?
What do you
We
want?
have to have a fun wager, don't we?
Is that what we're doing?
I don't know. I guess. I mean, nothing crazy. We don't have to have monies or anything. But it's like, let me put my lucky
whoever wins
bracelet on.
Whoever, I still haven't got my bracelet.
You're never getting a fucking bracelet, dog. If you don't get your bracelet in real time, bother her. Go into her fucking chat and tell her everyone what she's a phony.
She's a
you know what? You have to send her a bracelet because she never got one, and so she's so. You know what you do? Send it with a return.
Flame was going to make her one.
That's the move.
Because Flame has a
okay. This is what you do. Flame and you hook up a bracelet, send it to her. You'll get something back.
I'd have to, right?
So what are we gonna do? What's fun? What? All right. Let's just. What is a fun bet?
I was gonna say
it's not gonna be too fucking crazy. If you lose, I don't want to humiliate anybody. I don't want to eat shit. I don't want to eat bugs. I don't want to do anything.
Whoever wins has to buy the other one a World Series hat.
What's a world? I mean, a World Series hat is just the fucking same hat.
With the World Series patch on the side, like World Series champion. Like this one right here. It says World Series 2020.
Isn't there more?
What do you want then? I don't know.
I'm trying to think. What's funny? What's cool?
What's funny? What's busting?
Around $10,000. Could you imagine the fucking intensity of the World Series if we had $10,000?
That'd be crazy.
I don't have $10,000.
Sweating bullets.
How about a $5 bet every game, and then at the end of the World Series, you add it up.
It just goes back and forth.
It's just that way you don't really lose a bunch, and you win it. I mean,
so if there's a sweep,
and then you get like a $10 bonus for the winner.
Okay, so if there's a sweep, the most you lose is like $30, right?
So if it's like 4 games to 2, that would be 10 minus, or that would be 20 minus 10. So you'd be 10. So you'd win $20.
The 10 goes to the winner. Yeah,
because you have to subtract the amount that the other guy wins if they win 2 games. All right. I mean, I can live with that at the most. I mean, even if it's a sweep, the most you could lose is like $15. Fine. Okay. 4 minus 1, 15, 10. That's 20.
It's 30. It's 5, 5, 5, 5. It's 20 plus 10 to the winner. That's 30.
And then you have to subtract the 1.
You said sweep
because if oh yeah. Okay.
Sweep is 4. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll do that.
We'll do that. That's fine.
Can you handle that kind of action?
If it goes 7, it can only be like $15. Yeah.
Or we could just do a flat $20 on the series.
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
But it's more fun if it's like every game, because then you have a little stakes for the game.
Yeah.
And you have a little stakes for the long.
We'll do that.
Let's just do $5 per game.
$5 and then 10 overall winner.
So, JC, if you're just catching up, we've turned this into a gambling baseball
It's a gambling stream now.
And this is what we do. And now the stream, we've been streaming 3 hours almost.
2.5 hours, yeah.
This is a famous Pragpro stream. They only go 3.5, 4 hours. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm excited. I mean, I hope it is a good series. I feel like the Dodgers are just going to pound them, though. Ohtani seems to be on a mission, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is what he's wanted.
Now you're going to get the butterflies when you're playing the Yankees in the World Series. It's a little diffy. If you're playing the Brewers, it's a little diffy.
They asked him if being in the postseason makes him nervous. And before the interpreter could translate it, he just said no. And then what are you going to say? He hits a He hits a home run in his first at bat in the postseason.
Do it in the fucking Yankee Stadium.
He's going to do it in the Yankee Stadium.
You know what I'm saying? Not in the World Series. It's a little different. I'm just saying.
Do it.
There's a little. It's a little diffy. I think. I don't know. Maybe it is going to be I hope it's a good series.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's what baseball needs and it deserves. The Yankees and the Dodgers.
This is going to be one of the most highly rated World Series in a long time.
Yeah, it's because all the people live in New York and LA. Yeah. The population, right? And that's where the baseball fans reside still to this day.
So let's make a prediction. So what do you got? Who's winning? How many games?
Yankees in Game 7.
Yankees in 7.
Fourth. They're gonna win. Fucking.
Yankees
it's
in
gonna
7.
Be barely. It's gonna be like a fucking double. Send my guy Jazz Chisholm to score the game-winning run. Game 7. It's gonna be Rizzo. Rizzo's gonna tap in fucking Jazz. That's my long.
Okay, so
long and short of it.
Yankees in 7. Who's gonna be the World Series MVP? Jazz Chisholm.
Jazz Chisholm. You're gonna see it's gonna be like, oh my god, Jazz Chisholm, 30 for 30 in the World Series. He can't
30
stop.
for
They
30.
try to walk him and he still hits the ball. He like spins the ball out. MVP's got to. If the Yankees win, it'll definitely be a pitcher. I feel like.
I think so.
But do they ever give it to a pitcher?
Yeah, he's dominant. Yeah.
You know they're going to give it to Judge. If the Yankees win, it's because Judge did what he had to do, and so he's probably going to be an MVP. And just the same thing for Sadahara O.
Who?
Sadahara O.
Who's that?
That's your guy.
Shohei Ohtani?
You don't know who that is? No, it's Sadahara O. You don't know who Sadahara O is? He's the most famous Japanese home run hitter of all time.
No.
God, you don't know anything about baseball.
Oh, from the Giants.
Check it out. This is the Tokyo Giants, son.
The Tokyo Giants.
He never played in the major leagues. He was like a Hideki Matsui before Matsui, but he was hit bombs.
Laser.
868 home runs or something, right?
What a leg kick.
Yeah, look at it. Beautiful. Now, he would have been a star in Major League Baseball, but they didn't really bring, for whatever reason, he just played over there the whole time. Bro, Hideki Matsui was clutch as fuck in the World Series. Yeah. Those teams that won for the Yankees were very, very good teams as far as the pantheon of Yankee teams go, too. The 90s one with Paul O'Neill, fucking Scott Brocious at third base, Jeter.
Brocious, yeah.
I think they had fucking Chuck Knoblaw at second, or maybe it was Steve Sachs at that point, and then Posada and Bernie Williams, rookies. No, Jeter, all came at the same year.
During that time, it was 100% Knobloch. I remember that. All right, so I got...
What a team.
I got Dodgers in 6. And I got Ohtani winning the MVP.
Do we get a bonus if we get the MVP? Is there another $5 kicker for MVP?
Yeah, let's do a $5 kicker. But $5 kicker.
Right. Somebody has to write this down.
$5 kicker.
This is going to be.
But I will give you an extra.
You can keep score for me.
I will give you an extra 10 if it's Jazz Chisholm.
Oh shit! It won't be $5 per game. $10 for the series
for the winner. Yeah.
And then what is it? $5
for the MVP. Yeah.
So,
are you going to pick an actual MVP or are you going to go with Chisholm? You going to avoid Jazz?
Oh, I'm going with no because it's not possible.
You never know.
Does he play every game? Is he guaranteed?
I don't think so.
At bats?
But I'm not sure.
No, he's like a fucking position guy.
Platoon.
Who's the favorites? Judge or Soto? Probably. Stanton?
Judge isn't having a very good postseason.
It's got to be Judge.
Stanton's having a monster postseason.
Yeah, but Judge is going to have a good game for him to win.
Yeah. All right.
Why does Judge always fucking shit the bed during the postseason? I feel like he always shits the bed.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Come on, it doesn't happen. Come on, you can't. That's the key. Now I don't want to pick the pitcher, but they wouldn't give it to a pitcher.
If
let's just go. Oh, see now I don't.
Hold on.
Let's look at the odds. How about this?
If it's a close series and it goes the distance, and 2 of those wins are primarily because Garrett Cole shut down the Dodgers, 100% they're going to give it to Garrett Cole.
Well, they could give it to a closer too, like they've given it to Rivera. Judge, Soto.
He's
here we
go.
go.
Had to be pretty fucking dominant.
Okay, so Ohtani is
right
3 to 1. Judge 5 to 1. So shouldn't we get paid based on the odds? See, now it's complicated, right?
I don't want to do the whole odds thing.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to pay me 3 to 1 now. All right. How about this? Yeah, let's just take Judge and
Judge said okay.
Or Juan's Soto. Is Soto the better? Is Soto guaranteed at bats?
I mean, they both are. Judge isn't doing anything. Stanton is having a good postseason, and Soto is being Soto. He's being good. So you're betting on a guy to wake up versus 2 guys that are hitting okay right now, hitting pretty good.
We have to go with Judge.
Yeah.
I know this is a cursed mission, but just based on the 2
MVPs.
odds,
Let's do it.
It's 5 to 1 versus 6 to 1. Yeah,
let's do the 2 MVPs.
This is going to end up in me sending a $30 to you, isn't it? Which is fine.
It is what it is.
Hey, listen, that's the game.
That's the game.
Listen, at least we're going to win a couple games. I feel like maybe we can win 2 games. I don't know. See, now
we're playing for keeps. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
All right. I think we've done everything that we've came here to do tonight.
We have. We did our Mr. McMahon review loosely, and then a backdoor pilot into the World Series preview.
We have to, and then we have a new show called World Series Recap. What if this is the show after each game?
No.
We talk about it.
No, okay.
What do you mean? No.
Hold on. I had that idea, but
the game's over.
Right. I had that idea, but I thought during the travel days. So after games 1 and 2, we do 1.
All right.
And after 3, 4, and 5, we do 1.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We can do that.
We should be affiliate by now, right? How many fucking hours have we put in? We put in a good shift.
Put in all the hours.
And then we have Marriage Story on Saturday.
Oh, I got married. Yeah, I still gotta watch that.
Are you gonna watch it with your beloved?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
She's gonna fucking glare at you the whole time. You do that, Michael.
You do that?
Remember when you did that to me?
Okay, it says 50
Remember
followers.
when you
We
did
got
that
50
to me?
followers. Stream 8 hours per month. It's at 6.63, and stream 7 days a month. So we should be okay. We'll see. After this one,
This might be the one.
This might be the
This
one.
might be the one. I think this might be the one.
Who would have
I really
thought
do. That
baseball
sweet
and
money's
wrestling
gonna start
take us over the
pouring in.
edge? Who would have thought?
I mean, we did a fucking loving tribute to wrestling today.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
think we should be proud
Yeah.
of it, you know?
Yeah.
And then we implemented more videos, things.
And then
That's fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Once you figured it out. But now we know.
I mean,
but now
we can do that. Like when we have a movie show, we can show clips from the fucking movie that we're talking about and say, oh, remember this scene? And then have a little scene. And then
we have a guaranteed show Saturday and Sunday. So we should be good.
What's Sunday? That's the first
break of the World Series, yeah.
Okay, please remind me. Well, okay, Sunday. Do I have anything?
Well, yeah,
I have your dad might like that at 8. So we can do that at like.
It's an off day. We can do it literally whenever.
Do it at like 6 p.m. or something like that.
Do like a lead in, yeah.
I think that's fun.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then it'll be 2 grandmas yapping about baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to end up having to do an Aussie rules football show, I'm sure, at some point.
Probably.
Or an Aston Villa show. I would listen, JC, if you're watching this, and I know you've tuned out by now, I'm willing to watch Aston Villa football with you and talk about it on stream.
Football.
Because I love football. I love soccer. And they're a great team. I don't know if you guys know this, but they're number 1 in the table in the UEFA Champions League, which is like the NFL of football.
No one knows that.
It means that this was a very bad team for decades and decades and decades, and now they're finally like on top. So it's a nice underdog story.
All right, well, we're done.
All right,
we will be back.
All right, gang.
Saturday.
Hopefully next time we can raid out. You know.
Well, we're gonna see if we can actually end it this time, because last time we couldn't end it. That was the whole thing. So we'll figure it out. So thank you.
And then
for joining us.
Yeah, and then JC, please upload the ABBABOX video. ABBABOX is wondering, where's my video? Where's my YouTube? Where's my Spotify? I want to share the link. And I have to say, it's not ready yet, sir.
JC is sleeping right now. He's sleeping. All right.
Watch the VOD, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good show.
See y'all later. Bye.
All right. So we're not watching the World Series together.
Nope. Can't.
Maybe I live stream my reactions to it. What if I'm watching the World Series and I have the iPad on? You don't have to watch
you can
it.
Do that.
But then other people can watch me watching it?
Other people watch it, yeah. I just want to be one of them.
But then how would I do that audio-wise? I couldn't use a mic. I would have to use like AirPods, but then would that pick up? All right, I'll figure it out on Friday. What time's the game? Friday
5.
at 7?
5:08.
5.
5:08.
Ooh, early start.
Yep. Every game's at 5.
I'll pop the iPad on.
Every game's at 5. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate it. Goodbye.
I love you. Say it back.
I love you. I love you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Good night.